An unstoppable force meets an unmovable object. But when that object gets stronger just by being hit, the laws of power are about to be rewritten. As the massive orb of solar energy barrels down, Ye Junlin just stands there. And right on cue, his system chimes in. Encountering a pseudo-immortal enemy has triggered his passive ability, instantly boosting his cultivation to the mid-pseudo-immortal stage. A surge of golden energy envelops him, not harming, but empowering. Hong Qianye stares in horror. He recognizes this crushing pressure. His master is a pseudo-immortal too. Up in the sky, Zhu smirks with arrogance, completely unaware that his world is about to be shattered. Then, the unthinkable happens. Ye Junlin raises a single hand and, with a look of utter boredom, catches the world-ending attack. Zhu smirk vanishes, replaced by pure, slack-jawed shock. With a flicker of his own power, Ye Junlin shatters the solar annihilation. Zhu finally understands. The power radiating from him is undeniable. He's a mid-pseudo-immortal. Young Master Shui's face drains of all color. But Li Wuje's despair turns to awe. No wonder his new master was so arrogant. He had the strength to back it all up. Zhu is livid. He played us all, he thinks, screaming that Ye Junlin is a shameless bastard for hiding his power. Ye Junlin puts on a show of innocence, swearing he just broke through. When Zhu calls him a liar, he just shrugs. Believe it or not, I'm just that gifted. The casual dismissal sends Zhu into a blind rage. With a wicked smile, Ye Junlin decides to return the favor, conjuring his own solar annihilation. Let me prove it to you, he says, mocking Zhu yellow ball. The Shui clan ancestor is baffled, convincing himself Ye Junlin must be using some kind of powerful defensive artifact. Ye Junlin scoffs at Zhu solar wheel, calling it a low-grade artifact. Let's see if your cherished toy is tougher than my body. Pushed past his limit, Zhu throws his artifact directly at Ye Junlin, screaming for him to take it head-on. Ye Junlin catches the spinning, fiery artifact with his bare hands. Complaining about the annoying noise, he simply clenches his fist. With a deafening crack, the pseudo-immortal artifact shatters. The Shui ancestor and Zhu stare in absolute disbelief. Zhu confidence is completely gone. Ye Junlin casually flicks a shard back at him. Here's your broken toy. Try again if you're feeling lucky. This is the ultimate humiliation. Zhu eyes glow with red-hot fury. Ye Junlin! This is war! He explodes in a pillar of golden light, unleashing the feathered ascension art. Ye Junlin just yawns, completely unimpressed. Oh? Is that one called flying chicken feathers or something? The insult drives Zhu over the edge. Shut your mouth! He screams, unleashing a storm of golden feather-like projectiles. In response, Ye Junlin calmly forms a hand seal, summoning a massive, godlike spectral figure, King's Might Seal. A wave of overwhelming spiritual pressure blasts outwards, meeting the stormhead. The seal effortlessly breaks through Zhu attack. Panting, Zhu decides to use his final trump card, summoning 9 miniature suns into the sky. Ye Junlin, he screams, I sacrifice 1,000 years of my life. I'll make you kneel and beg for mercy for all eternity. The guests flee in terror, the heat so intense they feel like they're melting. Zhu is going all in for the kill. Ye Junlin remains calm. Open your eyes, punk, he says, his own eyes glowing with a mysterious purple light. Here comes the finale. He brings his hands together, summoning a swirling vortex of multicolored energy, fivefold Samsara Oblivion technique. The 9 suns rain down as the Samsara vortex spins to meet them. Zhu screams with absolute conviction, today only one of us gets out alive. As the 2 ultimate attacks are about to collide, Ye Junlin looks on, a cold, indifferent expression on his face. You think so? Zhu watches in horror as his 9 sons, born from 1,000 years of his life, are simply absorbed. It's fake. It's all fake, he screams, his mind breaking. After 3,000 years, he still can't surpass this man. With his last breath, Zhu vows to wait for him in the underworld. Hong Qianye is speechless. The strongest pseudo-immortal in the eastern region, defeated. Just how much power has his master been hiding? Ye Junlin lets out a relaxed sigh and puts his sunglasses back on. Finally, not so blinding anymore. Guess it's time to wrap up this quest. He descends gracefully, landing before the trembling Shui clan ancestor who bows deeply. Venerable Yi, your divine power is awe-inspiring. Do you have any further instructions? Ye Junlin turns to the patriarch. Little Shui, he says with a chillingly calm voice. "About me taking that disciple, you don't have any objections, do you?" The patriarch stammers. "Of course not. Take him. Take anyone you want." The Shui ancestor falls to his knees, begging for mercy. Ye Junlan looks down at him coldly. "My disciple, Li Wuji, was crushed by your fine family. Don't you think his master should help him get even?" The ancestor frantically agrees. Ye Junlan then turns to Li Wujie. His expression is unreadable, but his voice is deadly serious. "I want you," he begins, with your own hands, to kill every single member of the Shui family here." The Shui clan ancestor's face freezes in a mask of pure, unadulterated horror as a collective gasp rips through the air. The banquet hall falls into a dead, terrifying silence. A judgment has been passed, and the executioner has just been handed his sword. Revenge has been served, but the bill has just arrived. And for a clan that thought they were untouchable, the price is higher than they could ever imagine. Ye Junlin looks down at the kneeling Shui ancestor. "Is that too much to ask?" he says with chilling calm. The ancestor is horrified, wiping out his entire clan. "It's pure lunacy." He pleads for the innocent, but Ye Junlin snaps back. "My disciple lost his sister. Do you have no empathy?" The weight of his family's sins crashes down on the ancestor. They truly reaped what they sowed. "Very well," Ye Junlin says with a cruel smile. "I'm a reasonable man. How about this? Just eliminate the true culprit." His eyes dart towards the oblivious young master Shui and his father. The ancestor is overcome with relief, but as the Shui patriarch looks at his own father, he sees not relief, but a look of cold, murderous resolve. In a flash of brilliant blue light, the ancestor strikes. But his target isn't his grandson. It's his own son, the clan lord. The other clan members scream as the patriarch is struck down. Young Master Shui watches in horror. "Grandpa, why would you do this?" The ancestor holds the body of his son and turns to Ye Junlin with a pained, subservient smile. "Venerable Ye, are you satisfied now?" Ye Junlin looks annoyed. "Are you brain dead?" "I told you to kill that idiot," he says, gesturing to young Master Shui. The ancestor explains his twisted logic, then promises to guarantee his satisfaction. Seething with rage, the ancestor turns on his grandson. "Damn fool, you almost got the whole clan wiped out." He grabs young Master Shui by the throat. Tears of disbelief stream down the young master's face as he chokes out, "Old ancestor, you brought this upon yourself." The ancestor snarls. With a final, explosive cry of "die," he ends his grandson's miserable life. Ye Junlin gives a slight nod. "Not bad. Let's call the past settled." The ancestor bows deeply, declaring that the Shui clan owes him a great debt. Standing amidst the carnage, Li Wujie begins to laugh, a broken, unhinged sound. He looks to the sky and whispers his sister's name. The laughter turns to sobs as he's overcome with emotion. "Did you see it?" he cries. That bastard finally got what he deserved. The weight he's carried for years has finally been lifted. Ye Junlan walks over. "Li Wujie," he asks gently, "now that your revenge is complete, will you become my disciple?" Without hesitation, Li Wujie slams his body to the ground. He swears an oath, declaring that from this day forward his worthless life belongs to his master. He performs a deep, formal bow. "Disciple Li Wujie," greets master. At that exact moment, the system chimes in. Task complete. Reward granted. But the rewards keep coming. The system unlocks a free upgrade for his new disciple, a supreme technique called Chaotic Heaven Blade Arts, and a pill to awaken his hidden, mad demon bloodline. Ye Junlin smirks. "This is getting interesting." He turns to his new disciple. "Li Wujie, since you are now my disciple, allow me to pass on a new blade technique." Li Wujie looks up, filled with gratitude, and humbly accepts. A torrent of profound knowledge floods his mind. The Chaotic Heaven Blade Arts. Its essence flows into him, and his eyes glow with a new golden light. In a vision, he sees a blade so powerful it can sever the very fabric of time. He sees it cut down the intangible chains of karma. This isn't just a blade art. His mind reels. This is the law of heaven itself. Every strike carries the will of creation, a power beyond anything he could have ever dreamed. He's utterly humbled. "Master, just who are you?" he whispers, begging forgiveness for ever doubting him. Hung Qianye watches, a mixture of shock and envy on his face. He thinks about the dirt-covered man from moments ago, now wielding a devilish art, and a flicker of rivalry sparks within him. Suddenly, Li Wujie collapses, coughing up blood. The backlash from his earlier fight is catching up to him. He struggles to his feet, fearing he'll be unable to live up to his master's expectations. Ye Junlin waves it off. "Don't spout nonsense," he says, producing the blood-burn pill. He tells his disciple this pill will not only heal him, but awaken his true potential. Li Wujie swallows it. An instant later, a violent crimson energy explodes from within him as he clutches his chest in agony. "I feel awful," he screams, as the red aura consumes him completely. Ye Junlin watches intently. The mad demon bloodline is awakening. The system warns him the user will go berserk unless suppressed. Li Wujie's eyes glow red with insanity. "Die! All of you, die!" he roars, his power instantly leaping from integration to the full completion stage. Hong Chenye is shocked. He's never seen such a freakish increase in power in his entire life. Li Wujie continues to scream, lost in his rage. Lost in his berserk state, he instinctively unleashes his newfound power, the chaotic Heaven Blade arts. He cuts a wild path of destruction. Ye Junlin observes, noting that a single wrong move now could drive his new disciple insane forever. He calmly raises a hand, effortlessly deflecting the frenzied slashes. "Not bad," he says with a satisfied smile. "Once the bloodline awakens, you're a whole new beast." Still lost in a trance, Li Wujie mutters, "Kill," as he swings again. Ye Junlin's eyes glow with power as he easily blocks the attack, seeing not a monster, but the vast potential of his powerful new disciple. The dust settles on a day of chaos, revenge, and rebirth. But for the profound Heaven sect, the real show is only just beginning. A beast unleashed must be tamed. But when the one holding the leash is more of a monster than the beast itself, tamed is just another word for controlled. With a furious roar, the berserk Li Wujie lunges at his new master. But Ye Junlin simply holds up a hand, effortlessly stopping the attack dead in its tracks. He activates his heavenly Emperor Dharma, body, a massive spectral form that dwarfs Li Wujie's rage, impressed that his new disciple can withstand such power. But it's time to end the show. He raises a single finger, his voice echoing with authority. "Li Wujie, as your master, I command you, snap out of it." The crimson aura dissipates. Li Wujie collapses, horrified as he realizes he was just attacking the man who saved him. "Master, what happened?" A jolt of realization hits him. He's broken through to peak integration. His foundation isn't just restored, it's stronger than ever. It feels like a total rebirth. Overwhelmed with gratitude, he kneels before his master, thanking him for this new life. Ye Junlin calmly explains that the mad demon bloodline is a great power, but one he must use wisely. Li Wujie bows his head, promising to remember his master's teachings. For the first time in years, he has a purpose beyond revenge. The Shui clan ancestor, ever the opportunist, seizes the moment, shamelessly congratulating Ye Junlan and inviting them all for a celebratory drink. The guests watch in disbelief. Hong Chenye looks on, his expression grim. In this world, strength is everything. His master made a man kill his own family, and the man thanked him for it. Ye Junlin waves a dismissive hand. "All right, it's settled. You guys keep celebrating." He then turns to his disciples, "Xiao Hong, grab your junior and let's go." They board the massive Kunpeng and take off, leaving the Shui clan to shout their fearful, relieved farewells. Finally, that demon is gone. The Shui clan ancestor clenches his fist in fury. His glorious banquet had been turned into an absolute farce. An attendant brings him his grandson's severed hand. The ancestor snatches it and snarls, "Throw it in the backyard and feed it to the dogs." With that, he turns to the remaining guests, his face a mask of cold fury. "The rest of you, get out. This banquet is over." Meanwhile, soaring through the sky, Li Wujie joins his new sect brothers. The massive Kunpeng glides effortlessly above the clouds, a truly divine beast. Li Wujie relaxes, a feeling of peace washing over him. His life has completely changed. His eyes wander over to Hong Chenye, and he decides to go build some rapport with his new senior. He starts laying on the flattery, praising senior sister Hong's otherworldly beauty. Hong Chenye just thinks, "Here we go again," and turns away with a sharp huff, leaving Li Wujie completely confused. Just then, Bai Chaosi pops up beside him. "You guys always mess up his gender," she says cheerfully. "He hates that." She introduces herself as Senior Sister Bai. Li Wujie politely greets her, and Bai Shaoxi cheers. "Mousie has a junior now." Li Wujie laughs, realizing his mistake. No wonder his senior brother was so cold. Bai Shaoxi wags a finger, telling him messing up his gender is his #1 taboo. Li Wujie comments on how amazing everyone is. Bai Xiaoxi gets a little sad, explaining that she's stuck in this form and feels like she's always causing trouble. Li Wuji then has an idea. He pulls out a scroll he found, telling her it might help her fully transform into a human. Bai Xiaoxi's eyes sparkle with hope. "Really? That's awesome!" she exclaims. She excitedly runs to Ye Junlin with the good news. He smiles, teasing that he'll miss rubbing her fuzzy head, but she quickly promises she can switch forms anytime he wants. She asks if they're heading back to the sect. Ye Junlin leans back with a grin. Back? Of course not. With a flashy mount like this, it's time to show off. Full speed ahead! And so, for 3 months, Ye Junlin and his crew soared across the eastern region, his reputation becoming an unsolvable mystery. They arrive at Panchi City to find it in the middle of a desperate battle. The enemy is a horde of blue-skinned, red-eyed demons, the Ghost Clan. A ghostly commander roars with malice, "Kill! Slaughter all the humans!" The human defenders fight to the death, but it's a losing battle as the civilians cower and pray for a savior. High above, Li Wuji reports the situation, but Ye Junlin and Hong Qianye are completely absorbed in a game of Go. Hong Qianye grumbles, complaining about Ye Junlin's cannon, peace, jumping over obstacles. "I've never seen such shamelessness." Ye Junlin just laughs. "Xiao Hong, you're so weak. I haven't even used 10% of my power." He declares his piece is a mortar cannon and can do whatever he wants, leaving his disciple speechless. "Are you doubting your master's chess skills?" he asks playfully. Hong Qianye immediately shrinks back. "This disciple dares not." Ye Junlin turns to Bai Xiaoxi, now in a cute human form, for her opinion. "Mousy thinks master is the greatest," she cheers, as Hong Qianye grits his teeth. Ye Junlin finally asks Li Wujie to repeat what he said. Li Wujie explains that the Ghost Clan is one of 3 ancient demon clans, unsealed and now invading again. Ye Junlin stands up, a flicker of interest in his eyes. "If that's the case," he says, "let's go greet these ghosts ourselves." A smirk plays on his lips. Let's see what's going on. A new threat has emerged, but for a man who lives for chaos, this isn't a crisis, it's an invitation. An ancient evil has returned to plague the world, but they're about to learn that some of the new monsters are far more terrifying than the old ones. The Ghost Clan soldiers spot 2 new figures. One sneers, "Look, human cultivators." Li Wujie and Hong Qianye stand ready, with Li Wujie thrilled to finally fight alongside his red senior brother, eager to test his new skills. With a furious cry, Li Wujie unleashes his power. A slash of crimson energy rips through the Ghost Clan ranks, instantly vaporizing the first wave. He wades into the horde, his blade a blur of motion, cutting down demons left and right as the enraged ghosts swarm him. Not to be outdone, Hong Qianye unleashes his Golden Crow flame arts. A tidal wave of brilliant golden fire erupts from his hands. The sacred fire incinerates thousands of ghost soldiers in an instant. Li Wujie smirks, thinking that even if his master is shameless, his disciples are undeniably the strongest. From the city walls, the human commanders watch in stunned silence. "Too strong," one stammers, awed that they wiped out 500,000 troops in mere moments. Their power has drawn the attention of the Ghost Clan's elite. 3 spectral commanders materialize, furious, and order a full-scale attack to eliminate them. Hong Qianye senses the new threat, his expression turning serious as he focuses his power. A group of shadowy, phantom-like figures emerge from the ghost army. Hong Qian narrows his eyes. "Now it's interesting," he says, sensing the aura of a great Ascension Ghost Commander. 3 of the commanders appear. One scoffs at Li Wujie's rank, but the lead commander declares he is more than enough to handle them both. Li Wujie just grins, excited for a real test. With a cry of "Die!" the Ghost Commander lunges at him. But Li Wujie's blade meets the attack with a shower of sparks. "That tickles," Li Wujie mocks. "Are you trying to give me a manicure?" An explosion of energy erupts from the impact. The Ghost Commander is blown back, stunned by the insult. "Manicure?" He and his fellow commanders stare in disbelief. How is that possible? It was the blade. It severed the very karma behind the attack. The human general on the wall screams, "Soul integration killing great ascension? Ye Junlan's disciples are all monsters." Li Wujie throws his head back and laughs, a wild, ecstatic sound, drunk on his newfound power. He declares that killing a great Ascension Master felt as easy as slicing tofu. At that moment, the remaining Ghost Commanders emerge. All 9 of them. The lead commander snarls, You only killed the ninth because he was careless. Think you can take on all of us? He gives the order, attack together, grind them into dust. The 9 commanders swarm Li Wujie. He grits his teeth, realizing he might have to use his mad demon bloodline again to survive. But before he can, a new power enters the fray, emerald glass fire. A swirling vortex of brilliant green fire sweeps across the battlefield, intercepting the commanders. It's Hong Qianye, his expression cold and disdainful as he unleashes his flame. The flames burn the commanders, who cry out in pain. One of them, enraged, screams, "Human woman, you'll pay with your life." They regroup, sneering at Hong Qianye. "Scared now? You and that filthy woman are going to die." Hong Qianye's face freezes. "A filthy woman," he repeats, his voice dangerously low. He looks at Li Wujie with a cold, terrifying smile. "You're screwed." With a furious scream of "Die," his demonic marking glows intensely. He unleashes his ultimate power, the soul-devouring black flame, a terrifying fire that consumes not just the body, but the soul itself. The ghost commanders are caught in the vortex of black flame, their own powers being devoured. They scream in terror. What is this? One by one, their spiritual forms are torn apart and consumed by the relentless, soul-destroying fire. The last remaining commander can only whisper, "Impossible," before he too is completely annihilated. A final, agonized scream echoes across the battlefield as the last of the 10 great ghost commanders is erased from existence. Hong Qianye floats in the air, surrounded by fading wisps of dark flame. He looks down at the terrified army with utter contempt. Reckless bugs. Li Wujie watches, a bead of sweat on his brow. He thinks to himself that when his red senior brother gets angry, he's practically invincible. He grins. "Works for me. Now I can slash him like a maniac during practice." Hong Qianye glances over, sensing his competitive thoughts. Was it just my imagination? He wonders, a flicker of suspicion in his eyes. Just when you think you've seen the biggest monster on the battlefield, the real one shows up. And this one doesn't just want to win the war, it wants to wipe the board clean. A new, terrifying presence appears. It's the Ghost Clan's supreme general, Guiju. In a flash, he cuts down the humans' strongest fighter in a single strike. The soldiers on the wall cry out in despair. They're finished. Guiju laughs, a sound that chills the bone. He calls their resistance a pointless struggle, declaring that soon the entire Great Zhou dynasty will be wiped out. Before the ghost soldiers can celebrate, a fierce battle cry rings out. A new warrior leaps into the fray. It's Manhwa, commander of the Tiger Leopard Cavalry, riding a ferocious spirit tiger. "Shut up!" she roars. "You won't get away with this." She charges directly at Guiju, her spear glowing with power. But the ghost general just laughs, completely unimpressed. With a single contemptuous swing of his massive spectral spear, he shatters her attack. The force sends her flying, and she screams in pain as she's thrown from her mount. Her soldiers can only cry out her name in horror. Guiju looms over her. "Lowly human," he sneers, "kneel." But she glares back with pure defiance, declaring she would rather die than kneel. "Very well," he says with sadistic glee. "Then I shall grant your wish. I'll hang your head on the city gate so you can watch as we slaughter this nation." But just as he raises his weapon, a beam of light shoots down from the heavens. The light solidifies into the massive ethereal form of the Kunpeng, descending from the clouds. Guiju stares up in confusion as the Kunpeng opens its massive jaws, creating a powerful vortex that sucks in everything on the battlefield. The vortex is unstoppable, pulling in rocks, dirt, and the terrified ghost soldiers. Guiju lets out a final terrified scream of "No!" before he and his entire army are swallowed whole. With a tiny hiccup, the Kunpeng floats silently in the sky. The battle is over. Manhwa and her men can't believe their eyes, a divine beast sent by the heavens. Then, they realize it has a master. Ye Yunlin looks down and asks, "Who's in charge here?" Manhwa recognizes the name instantly. She quickly gathers herself and her troops, respectfully greeting the legendary master. Ye Jinlin asks why the ghosts are attacking. Manhwa explains that this is only a preliminary attack for a much larger invasion. Hong Qianye scoffs. Who cares? If they want to die, just wipe them out. But Ye Junlin interrupts, seeing through him. A new quest pops up, repel the ghost army. I knew it, Ye Junlin thinks. Quest time. This is the perfect opportunity. They can use this city as a base and see what they can learn. Putting on a righteous face, he declares that he can't stand by while these invaders slaughter innocents. he will step in. The commander thanks him profusely. Li Wujie looks at his master with admiration. Hong Qianye just rolls his eyes, thinking, "What a busybody." Ye Junlin tells Wang Hua to take them to her emperor. With a respectful, "Yes, seniors," she leads them away. They arrive at the main army encampment outside the Great Zhou capital. It's a massive military camp, but the atmosphere is tense and desperate. Inside the command tent, the crown prince, Zhou Tian, is being briefed. The ghost armies are advancing on the capital, and they don't know why. Even the crown prince has no idea what's going on. He resolves that their only option is to hold the line. As long as the people live, there is still hope. Just then, a scout bursts in with terrible news. The ghost army has broken through their final defense. 800,000 troops now surround the encampment. His generals panic, but one recognizes the divine beast in the sky. That's a Kunpeng, and Commander Wang Hua is on it. Wang Hua swoops in, reporting that she's brought the master of the beast, Ye Junlin, to help. The prince is stunned. The white-haired demon of the Xuantian sect? Wang Hua quickly whispers for him to mind his words, assuring him that Senior Ye is actually very easygoing. The crown prince nervously collects himself and formally greets him. Image Che 335-1034. From below, the ghost army commander laughs, telling the surrounded humans to surrender. Ye Junlin barely gives them a glance. He looks at his two disciples. "You two, go, clean them up." With a simple, "Yes, master," they leap into action. The human soldiers are baffled. Sending just 2 people against an army of 800,000? The ghost commanders sneer at the foolishness, blissfully unaware that they are about to face 2 of the most monstrous disciples in the entire world. While the great Zhou dynasty celebrates their victory, a far greater evil stirs in the darkness, angered that its plans have been so carelessly disrupted. Back on the battlefield, Hong Qianye and Li Wujie finally return to their master, announcing the last of the 800,000 ghost troops have been dealt with. But instead of praise, they're met with the sound of soft snores. As they try to wake him, Ye Junlin's eyes flutter open. "Oh, you're done already?" he asks, completely unfazed. Hong Qianye's face darkens. While they were fighting for their lives, their master was just taking a nap. With a simple pat on the shoulder and a quick, "Good job," Ye Junlim is greeted by the leaders of Great Zhou. Overjoyed, they bow and thank him profusely for saving their kingdom, insisting on hosting a grand banquet in his honor at the imperial palace. Inside the magnificent Tianhe Hall, Ye Junlin finds the emperor already waiting on his throne. He smirks, noting the old man didn't even bother to greet him at the door. The emperor apologizes, blaming his poor health for his lack of courtesy. Ye Junlang can immediately tell the emperor is a powerful master, but his energy is weak and unstable. The emperor knows his own life is tied to the fate of his nation, and he worries that his injuries are more obvious than he'd hoped. Cutting straight to the point, Ye Junlin asks what happened. The emperor reveals the ghost clan's true goal, a mysterious treasure hidden within the royal tombs. But before the invasion, a far stronger, unknown expert broke in and wounded him severely. The strangest part, he adds, is that the intruder had him completely beat but retreated without finishing the job, almost as if he was holding back. The ghost army attacks soon after. The pieces start to click into place for Ye Junlin. The real problem isn't just the ghost army, but whatever lies hidden in those royal tombs. Still, it's a puzzle. Why would someone powerful enough to defeat the emperor just leave? What could possibly be in that tomb to cause a full-scale war? Ye Junlang, who had planned on just coasting through this world, finds himself genuinely intrigued. This whole situation reminds him of an old legend he heard back in the central region. With a sly grin, he looks to the emperor and asks, "Your Majesty, if it's not too much trouble, would you mind if I took a look inside the tomb?" The crown prince instantly steps in, protesting that the royal tombs are sacred grounds for their ancestors. He warns that entering might stir up dangerous, ominous forces. Trying to change the subject, the prince insists Ye Junlin has earned a rest and should enjoy the feast they've prepared, even offering him any treasure he desires from the royal treasury. Junlin just waves a hand dismissively. "No worries, I was just curious." He figures since his system quest isn't done, he might as well stick around and see what happens. The crown prince breathes a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, deep within the nether abyss of the eastern region, the Ghost King's palace radiates a sinister, bloody light. The one-horned Ghost King sits on his throne of bone, surrounded by the skulls of his enemies. He takes a savage bite out of a captured human, blood dripping down his chin. He laughs, remarking on the sweet taste of a newborn's blood. He believes his time has finally come. Once he conquers the Great Zhou, his ghost clan will rise, and he'll finally earn his place among the great powers of the eastern region. But his patience wears thin. He wonders why he hasn't received a report from his army yet, his main concern being that mysterious expert who first broke into the tomb. Just then, a single battered general crawls into the throne room, collapsing at his feet. A hooded figure appears from the shadows behind him, its voice dripping with contempt. Useless. Why are you still here? The Ghost King immediately drops to his knees. Greetings, Lord Envoy. The envoy informs him that, while the other clans march for a holy war, he's here feasting. He coldly asks if the Ghost Clan has decided to give up. The king frantically explains his troops are already attacking Great Zhou, certain he can lure out their emperor and crush him. Fool, the envoy cuts him off. Your army of 800,000 has been completely wiped out. The king stares in disbelief as the envoy explains it wasn't the Zhou dynasty's army, but a single passing cultivator. The Ghost King flies into a rage. How could a mere cultivator derail his grand plan? He scoffs that even if this newcomer defeated his commanders, he would be nothing but an ant before a true tribulation stagemaster like himself. Do not underestimate him, the envoy warns, tossing him a pulsating pill. Take this nether abyss pill. Use it and crush Great Zhou. I will not tolerate another failure. The Ghost King accepts, swearing this time he will not fail. After the envoy vanishes, the king swallows the pill. In an instant, his power erupts and red lightning tears across the sky above his palace. Re-energized and seething with rage, he bellows to his remaining forces, "All troops march with me." A new, more terrifying army now heads for the human world. Back in Tianhe Hall, the mood at the banquet is far more cheerful. Li Wujie and Bai Shaoxi are stuffing their faces, but the crown prince notices Hong Qianye hasn't touched a single bite. He asks if the food isn't to his liking. Yi Junlin smoothly covers for his disciple. "Oh, just ignore him, he's on a diet." Hong Qianye screams internally. He's a tribulation stage master fasting for his cultivation, not dieting. The prince, impressed, suggests that if he can't eat, perhaps some music will entertain him. At the prince's signal, servants carry out a large, ornate instrument. The eastern region's most famous musician, Nangong Changfeng, steps forward and introduces himself with an air of immense pride. The crown prince explains that Master Nangong's music is so profound, it's said to help cultivators achieve enlightenment. With a grand gesture, the master begins to play, his fingers crackling with golden energy. The moment the music starts, Li Wujie and Bai Shaoxi are completely mesmerized, lost in the beautiful melody. But Ye Junlin simply yawns, looking utterly bored. Hong Qianye watches his master, a hint of amusement in his eyes. Suddenly, the music stops. Master Nangong looks up, his face a mask of cold fury. He tells the crown prince that if this is how his honored guests behave, perhaps he shouldn't have been invited at all. The crown prince nervously turns to Ye Junlan, asking if the performance was not to his satisfaction. Ye Junlan casually picks his ear and shrugs. "It was so-so." Master Nangong explodes. "Shut your mouth, you vulgar brute! You know nothing of the musical arts." One of Nangong's students leaps forward to defend his master's honor, but the crown prince quickly steps in to de-escalate. But the damage is done. Master Nangong is fuming that some uncultured barbarian would dare mock his life's work. Li Wujie glances at his master with concern. He knows that look. Trouble is coming. Right on cue, a new mission pops up. Option 1, lose his temper and kill the musician for a tiny reward. Option 2, play a song himself and humiliate the master for a much better prize bags of spirit beast feed. The first option is boring. The second one, now that sounds like fun. Ye Yunlin smirks. Play a song? I won't even need an instrument. My hands will be enough. Master Nangong is aghast at his arrogance. Enough with just your hands. A martial artist dares to mock the sacred Tao of music I've spent 1,000 years perfecting. You have no idea what you're talking about. There are many ways to win a battle. But when your opponent can destroy armies with a simple song, you aren't just fighting a man, you're fighting a legend in the making. The crown prince tries to smooth things over, but Li Wujie, ever the loyal disciple, chimes in with a grin, agreeing that hands are all his master truly needs. Master Nangong is enraged. He shoves his instrument toward Ye Junlin, challenging him to play something earth-shattering. He sneers that if a brute like him can play, then pigs can truly fly. The prince tries to intervene, but it's too late. Ye Junlin places a hand on the zither. He thinks to himself that back on Earth he was a walking library of pop songs. Music? This would be easy. He activates his system's auto-level up. Instantly, his music skill shoots from basic to adept to masterful and finally to perfected. In a single moment, he's become a grandmaster. He quickly checks Nangong's level, seeing he's a mere adept. The old master, growing impatient, yells at him to stop stalling and play. The crown prince watches, worried Ye Junlin is about to be humiliated. But Ye Junlin just smirks. Just adept, he thinks. All right then, sit tight and listen to a masterpiece from my world, Rule the World. He begins to play. A wave of golden, ethereal energy flows from the strings, filling the hall with a sound so divine it barely seems real. Hong Qianye is completely stunned. How could his master produce such a heavenly melody? He knows that even among the greatest geniuses of the central region, no one could compare to this. Master Nangong's face is a picture of pure disbelief. This music, it's impossible, he stammers, his lifetime of pride shattering in an instant. Li Wujie feels the profound laws of the Tao hidden within the notes. His blood begins to boil as the music resonates with the very core of his being. A surge of power erupts from both disciples. Hong Qianye smashes through his bottleneck, reaching the peak of the Great Ascension stage. At the same time, Li Wuji is engulfed in red energy, leaping directly from the integration realm all the way to Great Ascension. The crown prince is speechless. He thought Ye Junlin was a tribulation expert, but power like this man had to be a pseudo-immortal. The divine melody flows out from the palace, spreading across the entire capital city like a gentle wave. The wounded soldiers of the Great Zhou army feel the music wash over them, instantly healing their injuries. Some even feel their own power break through to new levels. They look to the sky, believing a god has answered their prayers. But just outside the city walls, the new ghost army has arrived, ready for slaughter. The one-horned ghost king declares that tonight Great Zhou will drown in blood. He raises his arm and gives the order, "Charge!" Suddenly, a brilliant golden light fills the sky. A ghost soldier points upward, crying out, "King, look! What is that?" As the sound of the zither reaches them, the ghost soldiers begin to turn to dust. They scream for their king to save them, while he roars for their attacker to show themselves. His entire army is crumbling around him. His men scream for him to retreat, telling him the humans have some kind of terrifying expert on their side. "No," the Ghost King roars, his eyes glowing with rage. "Who is it? Who the hell is it?" He decides to consume the Nether Abyss pill then and there. Even if it costs him everything, he has to find the one responsible and kill them. Immense power flows through him, but all he can hear are distant, echoing shouts of "Kill!" coming from within the city. He glares toward the capital, his face twisted with pure hatred. "No matter who you are," he vows, "you will die." He unleashes a massive blast of purple energy aiming to wipe the entire city off the map. But the golden music flowing from the palace rises to meet his attack. The sound waves solidify, forming a barrier of pure light that effortlessly blocks his desperate assault. And then, the music takes form. Ethereal golden phoenixes and celestial blue dragons emerge from the light, soaring through the air as the people of Great Zhou stare in wonder. A divine dragon swoops down on the Ghost King, its claws of light tearing through his armor. He screams in agony as the holy beast shreds his body. "Who is doing this?" he roars, his form being ripped apart by the musical phantoms. "Come out if you have the guts." He realizes with dawning horror that the humans are protecting a being far beyond anything he could have ever imagined. As his body disintegrates into nothing, he can just barely make out the source of his doom. Who is it? Playing. Back in the palace, Ye Junlin finishes his song with one last triumphant note. "So, how was my rule the world?" he asks with a smirk. The system chimes in, congratulating him on crushing his opponent and rewarding him with a new divine art. He laughs, realizing his music must have wiped out the ghost army, making his quest even easier. Bai Xiaoqi cheers that her master's song was amazing. Ye Junlin turns to the frozen Master Nangong. The old man collapses to the floor, prostrating himself completely. He admits Ye Junlin's music was a divine truth and that he was an arrogant fool to ever insult him. With that, the system announces the optional mission is complete. The reward, 10 bags of top-grade spirit beast feed. The crown prince asks what should be done with the disgraced musician. Ye Junlan, quest complete, simply waves a hand. "Let him go. Just tell him to study harder next time. Just then, Li Wuji stands, his body crackling with newfound power. Master, thanks to your song, I've broken through to the Great Ascension Realm. Ye Junlin gives a simple nod. Good. A song that shook the heavens has rewritten the fate of a nation. But for the one who played it, the real performance is only just beginning. A wave of powerful spiritual energy washes over the hall. The Emperor of Great Zhou, who was on the brink of death moments ago, rises from his throne, his body crackling with new life. He falls to his knees and performs a deep, respectful kowtow before Ye Junlin. With a voice filled with awe, he thanks him on behalf of every citizen of Great Zhou for the divine blessing of his music. The Crown Prince is stunned. His father, a mighty emperor, is bowing to this man. He can't help but wonder just how terrifyingly powerful this white-haired man from the Xuantian sect really is. Ye Junlin tells the emperor to get up, casually brushing it off as the emperor's own achievement. But the emperor insists it was only because of Ye Junlin's music that he was able to seize the opportunity and break through. So it seems you're really grateful, Ye Junlin observes with a faint smile. Absolutely, the emperor replies, promising that whatever Ye Junlin asks, the Great Zhou will do without question. Good, Ye Junlin says, his expression turning serious. Then take me to the ancestral tomb. This time, no one objects. The emperor eagerly agrees to lead the way himself. As they walk through the dark, torch-lit corridors, the emperor explains that besides a few treasures that attract tomb raiders, the tombs are actually quite ordinary. They soon reach a dead end. The emperor announces this is the end of the passage, but Ye Junlin finds nothing out of the ordinary. But just then, Hong Qianye's demonic mark begins to glow. A wave of purple energy erupts from the wall, revealing a massive, intricate array. The emperor is shocked. He never knew this was hidden in his own family's tomb. Ye Junlin turns to the emperor, asking how long his dynasty has existed. The emperor explains the Great Zhou has stood for over 1,000,000 years, one of the few ancient dynasties left. He adds that according to their records, other powerful kingdoms came before them, but they've all been lost to time. This land, he speculates, was established long before his dynasty was even founded. Ye Junlin looks at Hong Qianye. Little Red, he says, you're the one who triggered this gate. Do you know anything about it? Hong Qianye admits he's only heard legends. Go on, Ye Junlin encourages. Hong Qianye explains that, long ago, the Kunlun realm was connected to the wider universe by countless passages. But then, something happened, and ancient sages sealed them all, trapping everyone inside forever. At some point, a powerful being sealed the cultivators of Kunlun, preventing them from traveling through space. Trapped, the only way to become a true immortal and break free was through a legendary stargate. The emperor and crown prince are ecstatic. With this stargate, they could lead their empire to the stars. Idiots, Ye Junlin snaps, shattering their daydream. Are you so sure you'd be expanding? He asks them. What if you get invaded instead? He points out the obvious. If this gate was so great, why would the ancients have sealed it? He scolds them for their arrogance, dreaming of conquest when they couldn't even handle one intruder. The emperor and prince bow their heads in shame, admitting he's right. Ye Junlin glares at them coldly. Besides, he asks, do you even know how to activate this thing? They can only stare back, silent. Forget it, Ye Junlin says with a sigh. Just keep guarding your good fortune. You'll need it. The emperor immediately understands, promising they will remain vigilant. As they leave, Li Wujie realizes that if his master is right, the forces behind the Ghost Clan are traitors, selling out their world to outsiders. Ye Junlin adds that if one Stargate is here, there must be others. This is only the beginning. Ye Junlin smirks to himself. Interdimensional travel, parallel universes, this was starting to get really fun. Bai Xiaoxi looks on with admiration, hoping one day she can follow her master to that place all cultivators dream of. Hong Qianye, however, knows the truth. The immortal realm is a brutal place, far crueler than this world. He remembers choosing to stay behind to temper his mortal body, a decision that likely saved his life. He explains that in this world, a true immortal is worshipped as a god. But up there, you're just a pawn starting from the bottom. Without powerful backers, you get crushed. He knows he's made too many enemies down here to ascend safely. Li Wujie looks at him, surprised. Huh? Master, you sound like you've actually been there before. Back on the Kunpeng, Ye Junlin decides it's time for rewards. He pulls out the bags of spirit beast feed he won. Bai Xiaoxi, in her catgirl form, immediately sniffs the air. Master, that smells delicious. Can I have some? She shifts back to her mouse form, her eyes sparkling. Mousy is a beast too. A master's pet, Yi Junlin laughs. Fair enough, here, you can have a bag. Hong Qianye watches with disdain, thinking what a waste it is for her to be so obsessed with food instead of cultivation. Just like their master, Bai Shaoxi tears into the bag. An instant later, a massive wave of spiritual energy explodes from her tiny body, blasting her cultivation straight through nascent soul integration, and all the way to the Great Ascension realm. Hong Qianye and Li Wujie stare, their jaws on the floor. She ate a snack and leveled up, Li Wujie yells. Hong Qianye is just as shocked. One bag of pet food took her to Great Ascension. What would happen if she kept eating? Ye Junlin just smiles and offers her another bag, which she eagerly accepts. He then turns to his mount. Ah, Kun, you've worked hard too. This is for you, he says, tossing the remaining bags into the air. The Kunpeng happily eats the snacks, and its own power erupts, instantly leveling it up to the peak Great Ascension realm. Li Wujie is speechless. His master truly is beyond comprehension. Hong Qianye is internally screaming. What about hard-working cultivators like him? This isn't fair. Though he secretly wonders if the snacks have any side effects, not that it would stop him from eating them. Ye Junlin notes that after a few bags, the boost seems to weaken. It looks like there are diminishing returns. As a full and content Ba Xiaoxi naps, Hong Qianye is sitting nearby when he quietly calls out, "Mousy, come here for a second." It's rare for him to call for her. She runs over, asking what he needs. When you've clawed your way to the top through centuries of hard work, watching a mouse get an instant power-up can do strange things to a man's pride. Panicked, Hong Qianye rushes over to Bai Shaoxi, convinced those snacks she ate were poison. He gets right in her face, his voice sharp with disbelief. He tells her it's impossible to become a Great Ascension Master overnight, warning that those so-called snacks will destroy her foundation from the inside. But Bai Shaoxi, clutching her food, just looks confused, insisting their master gave them to her and she feels fine. Still not believing it, Hong Qianye sends a thread of his own energy into her body to check. His eyes go wide. Her meridians aren't just fine, they're more solid and powerful than his own. As he stands there in shock, Bai Shaoxi quietly tries to slip away. But he's not letting her go. In a flash, his concern vanishes, replaced by pure, unfiltered greed. A dark aura swirls around him as he leans in close, telling her to hand over the snacks for her own good. Bai Xiaoxi just shrinks back, stammering that their master gave them to her. He's done pretending. With a desperate shout, he lunges forward, snatches the bag right out of her paws, and tells her not to say a single word about this to their master. Defeated, the little mouse just whimpers, "Okay." With the prize in hand, Hong Qianye leaps onto his sword and speeds away, a smug grin on his face. He thinks to himself that this is it, his one-way ticket to the tribulation stage. He doesn't waste a second. Tipping the bag back, he pours the entire thing into his mouth. For a brief moment, he's pleasantly surprised by the taste, but that feeling doesn't last. A second later, a strange churning begins in his stomach as an insane amount of energy rampages through his body, completely out of control. Panic takes over. The sky darkens as lightning crackles above him. He realizes with horror that if this keeps up, he's going to explode. He can't understand how the little mouse was fine, while he feels like he's about to die. A massive gust of wind erupts from below him, shooting him into the sky like a rocket. From the ground, Li Wujie watches the bizarre sight, while Ye Junlan casually sniffs the air and remarks, "And why does the wind smell? Kind of nice?" Ye Junlan turns his attention to the guilty-looking mouse at his feet and asks her softly if she's okay. Ba Xiaoxi just trembles, stammering that she's fine, but Ye Junlin's eyes narrow. Looking from her terrified, blushing face and back towards the sky, he can tell instantly that she's lying. And in that moment, it all clicks. Ye Junlin's casual demeanor vanishes, replaced by pure, unfiltered rage as he realizes exactly what his first disciple has done. He clenches his teeth and roars his name, "Hong Qianye!" With a powerful whoosh, Ye Junlan vanishes, kicking up a cloud of dust as he shoots off to find the thief. A moment later, he reappears, holding a terrified Hong Qianye by the collar. He demands to know what he did, but Hong Qianye is frozen in fear, completely unable to answer. Ye Junlin drops him to the ground, and Hong Qianye immediately falls to his knees, his head bowed in utter shame. Ye Junlin stands over him, his silence more intimidating than any shouting. Finally, his patience snaps. He leans down and yells right in his face, "Are you deaf? Your master is talking to you." That breaks through the fear. Hong Qianye presses his forehead to the ground, his voice shaking as he pleads, "This disciple knows his mistake. Please forgive me, master." But Ye Junlan isn't letting him off that easy. He demands to know why he bullied his junior. Seeing him in trouble, Bai Shaoxi tries to cover for him, but Ye Junlan scoffs, telling Hong Qianye there's no excuse. Completely cornered, Hong Qianye can only repeat himself, his face burning with shame as he admits his mistake again. He tries to make an excuse, but Ye Junlan just flicks a hand dismissively, sending him flying. "Finish spewing your nonsense, then come back and accept your punishment." As Hong Qianye tumbles through the air, he's filled with regret. He took a shortcut and paid the price. More than anything, he's just glad none of his old enemies were around to see this humiliation. He crashes near a small village, leaving a fragrant, gaseous trail behind him. Villagers look up, mystified, as one points and exclaims about the beautiful fairy making strange noises. His friend deadpans that it sounds like his sister farting, but he's quickly scolded, told that it's divine fairy energy blessing their village. Hearing the words, "fairy energy," the villagers go wild, running around and taking deep breaths, shouting about how good it smells and how they can't miss this opportunity. Sometime later, Hong Qianye kneels before his master again. Ye Junlan tells him that since he's so proud, his punishment will be a lesson in humility. For the next 3 months, he will serve Ba Shaoxi and do whatever she says. Hong Qianye looks up in horror. Serve a mouse for 3 months? But with Bai Shaoxi looking delighted, he grits his teeth and accepts. 3 months pass, and we see a massive, ornate vessel called the Dragon Gate treasure ship sailing through the sky. On board, cultivators are buzzing with excitement. They're all heading to the legendary Medicine King Valley, a place filled with rare herbs that only opens once every 10,000 years. But the mood is tense. Cultivators complain that the best spots are already filled with powerful, nascent soul and soul integration masters. The competition will be brutal. Suddenly, a calm but commanding voice cuts through the chatter. "Fellow Taoists, hand over your valuables, and don't make me get rough." The crowd freezes. A robbery on the Dragon Gate treasure ship? It's unthinkable. An elderly cultivator steps forward to confront the source of the voice, approaching a group relaxing at a table. "May I ask who you are, senior?" he asks politely. Ye Junlan stands up, a slight smirk on his face, and keeps his introduction short and simple. "Xuantian sect, Ye Junlan." When your reputation gets so big it walks into a room before you do, there's always someone waiting to ride your coattails, or in this case, steal your whole identity for a quick buck. The name Ye Junlan sends a wave of panic through the ship. One man stammers, asking if it's really him, the white-haired reaper. His friend argues that someone that legendary wouldn't stoop to robbery, but the first guy just tells him to open his eyes and look at the crew. The crowd whispers, trying to make sense of it. Someone questions if he really has a kunpeng, but a skeptic scoffs, claiming the beast is extinct and people are just exaggerating. But the man at the center of it all isn't the real Ye Junlan. He's an imposter, and his plan is working perfectly. Thinking the fish have taken the bait, he orders his own Li Wujie to start collecting donations. The fake Li Wujie leaps into the crowd, waving his sword. He shouts for everyone to hand over their valuables or get a taste of his blade. The terrified cultivators immediately start begging for their lives. He points his sword at 2 men trying to hide, demanding they hand over their storage rings before he comes up and takes them himself. The upper deck of the ship is silent. The VIP guests have heard the commotion, but no one is coming out. The imposter gets impatient and starts heading upstairs, muttering about the rich guests pretending not to hear. The ship's manager rushes to stop him, warning that the guests are powerful members of the Wendao sect, but the imposter just laughs it off. So what? Even big shots have to show respect to his master. He grins, saying they should pay up quietly before things get messy for everyone. The manager tries to de-escalate, but the imposter isn't interested. He knows the Wendao sect are rivals of the real Ye Junlan, which only makes him more determined. He demands they come down and pay now. Just then, 2 figures appear at the top of the stairs, a stern-looking elder named Fan Dezhen and a fiery young woman named An Miaoyi. The fake Li Wujie immediately gets in their face, pointing his blade and yelling, "What are you staring at, brat? You looking for a fight?" And Miaoyi isn't intimidated. "Who are you calling brat, you dumbass?" she yells back, her fist already erupting in flames. But her guardian, Fan Dezhen, quickly steps in, telling her to calm down. Fan Dezhen is far more cautious. He can't sense their power, which is terrifying in itself. Not wanting to risk a real fight, he decides to pay them off, tossing a bag of high-grade spirit crystals as a token of goodwill. The imposter catches the bag with a smug grin. "That's more like it," he says, promising to let his master know they cooperated. As he turns to leave, An Miaoyi stares at her guardian in disbelief. "Uncle Fadne, how could you?" she exclaims, furious that he just gave in. But her anger is ignored as the imposter gets right back in her face, repeating his threat. And once again, An Miaoyi is ready to fight, her temper flaring as Fan Deshan holds her back. She fumes, calling him a coward for not letting her fight. But he explains their true power is a mystery, and it's better to be safe than sorry. Unconvinced, she declares she'll challenge the real Yi Junlin one day. Later, in a quiet forest, the group of imposters celebrates their heist, laughing about how useful Ye Junlin's name is for their scam. The woman dressed as Hong Junye sneers at the fake Li Wujie, gloating that the elder bowed to her. He calls her a lackey, she calls him trash, and they immediately start bickering. Back on the ship, the fake Li Wujie breathes a sigh of relief. He thinks to himself that his acting skills must be top-notch to fool even a powerful cultivator like that. The imposter leader graciously waves goodbye to the passengers as his crew leaves the ship. The argument between the fake disciples continues in the forest, their bickering proving that even among thieves, there's no honor. Their leader has had enough. With a thunderous voice, he yells at them to shut up, reminding them he's in charge and can replace any of them. He tells them this last job was just the beginning. They're going after a bigger score. With that, the whole crew takes to the sky, ready for their next con. But as they're flying, the leader's arrogant expression suddenly turns to pure terror. His jaw drops as he stares at something in the sky, completely speechless. A shadow falls over them. It's the real Kunpeng, a creature of myth, soaring through the clouds. Its sheer size is unimaginable, its presence so overwhelming the imposters can barely breathe. The Kunpeng flies past, completely ignoring them. As it disappears, one of the imposters gasps that it's a good thing they weren't noticed, or they'd be lunch. The reality of true power has just slapped them right in the face, and on the back of that very Kunpeng, we find the real crew. Hong Qianye is dutifully serving Bai Xiaoji, while Ye Junlin relaxes in a lounge chair. He tells Hong Qianye his sentence is almost over, and he has a special parting gift. Bai Xiaoxi excitedly rummages through a basket and pulls out a swirl sundae, a treat straight from Ye Junlin's system. She presents the ice cream to Hong Qianye. Ye Junlin calls it the best frozen dessert in the world, a reward for 3 months of hard work. But for Hong Qianye, this is the final humiliation. Cornered, he has no choice. He leans in and hesitantly licks the chocolate sundae. His eyes snap open. It's cold, creamy, and melts in his mouth. It's actually delicious. A blush creeps onto his face as he realizes maybe his master was trying to be nice after all. A moment later, Hong Qianye is happily eating his sundae. He informs his master they've arrived in Wuzhou, and the famous Yawang Valley will be opening soon. Ye Junlin asks what the valley is, and as Li Wujie explains, it's a famous site for spiritual herbs, a familiar ding sounds in Ye Junlin's head. The system has detected a new check-in area with a massive reward. A grin spreads across his face. It looks like their next adventure has just found them, and with Hong Qianye enjoying his well-deserved treat, our crew is ready to see what kind of trouble and rewards this Medicine King Valley has to offer. A city full of powerful cultivators is a land of opportunity. But where there's prey, predators are always lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Having arrived in Wuzhou, Ye Junlin's crew heads for the Dragon Gate Inn. Li Wuji explains, it's the perfect place to lay low until the Medicine King Valley opens. Hidden under heavy cloaks, they head inside. Settled at a table, Ye Junlin asks the waiter for recommendations. Eager to please, the waiter starts listing their specialties, beginning with braised lion head meatballs made from a powerful spirit beast. He continues, describing shrimp with a trace of dragon blood and a stir-fry made from a rare azure fox. Finally, he gets to their ultimate dish, snowflake jade meat, made from a spirit mouse, served simmering in a hot pot. Bai Xiaozi's eyes light up, thinking it looks delicious. But when the waiter says the word mouse, reality hits her. Her face goes pale as she dives under the table, screaming, "No! Don't eat mousy!" Unfazed, Ye Junlin calmly tells the waiter they'll take one of everything, except for that last dish. The waiter is ecstatic, rushing off to the kitchen. Meanwhile, Bai Xiaoxi sniffs to herself under the table, wondering why anyone would ever want to eat something as cute as her. Li Wuji asks why they don't just relax on the Kunpeng. Ye Junlin explains that with a big event happening, they need to be on the ground to experience things. He can already feel people talking about them, and he's right. At a nearby table, a group of cultivators are complaining loudly. One is fuming that he just ran into that bastard Yi Junlin and got ripped off for all his spirit crystals. The others chime in, realizing they've all been scammed by the same people. Li Wujie quenches his fists, furious that someone is slandering his master's name. Hong Qinye, however, is secretly enjoying this, but a sharp look from Ye Junlin silences his snickering. Hong Qinye immediately puts on a show of loyalty, his face a mask of rage, offering to kill them all. But Ye Junlin just deadpans, too fake, red. The gossip at the other table shifts to the imposter Hong Qinye. One man says he heard the red fairy was a legendary beauty, but in person, she looked more like a cheap brothel girl. Visual, the gossip continues. Another man agrees, saying she was average at best. A third gets even cruder, saying when he saw her curves he wanted to reach out and, before he can finish, he feels a chill run down his spine. Hong Qianye's face has gone dark, his eyes filled with pure, murderous intent as he slowly turns his head. Li Wuji, who had been listening intently, immediately panics. But Ye Junlin steps in, telling Hong Qianye to calm down. He reminds him they're talking about a fake, who is actually a woman. And he's not a woman, is he? Ye Junlan leans in with a teasing grin, pointing out that for someone who isn't a red fairy, he's sure having a big reaction. That's the last straw. Hong Qianye explodes, shouting, "I'm not!" as Ye Junlin watches, completely amused by the meltdown. Just as he's about to lose it, the waiter returns with their food. The incredible aroma instantly breaks the tension, and Bai Shaoxi's eyes sparkle. The feast has arrived. The group digs in. Ye Junlin casually says, "Not to worry. The impersonator will get what's coming to them eventually. For now, it's time to eat." Across the inn, An Miaoyi complains about the scumbag, Ye Junlin. Her guardian sighs, explaining that in their world, power makes the rules. The waiter walks past, thinking the hooded group at the other table looks strangely familiar. After their meal, the crew leaves their room, fully cloaked. Ba Xiaoxi pats her full belly, happily announcing that she's stuffed. As they walk down the hall, they pass the open door to An Miaoyi and Fan Dezhen's room. Fan Dezhen freezes. His eyes are wide as he stares after the departing group. He tells An Miaoyi he can sense incredible power from them, especially the one in the lead. The feeling is one of complete and utter helplessness. An Miaoyi is shocked. Another virtual immortal? Fan Dezhen explains it's possible and warns her they must stay cautious. Later that night, a sinister presence slithers into the inn's courtyard. A massive, blue-scaled serpent moves silently through the dark. We see their leader, Yahello Gu, the high priest of the serpent clan. He confirms their mission to weaken the humans. A massacre will begin tonight, right here. Image, H429. He gives the order to begin the serpent mirage formation. This isn't just a random attack, it's an act of war. His soldiers create glowing purple magic circles. The priest explains that with this formation, anyone below the virtual immortal realm will be trapped in an eternal sleep. A dome of shimmering blue energy envelops the entire inn. The priest declares that, once it's complete, not even a true immortal will be able to break it. Inside, the spell takes effect. In their room, Ye Junlin's disciples are all fast asleep, completely vulnerable. The Serpent Clan's plan is in motion. The entire inn, filled with powerful cultivators, is about to fall into an endless dream, defenseless against the massacre to come. Image, Shaf1034. And as his disciples sleep, trapped by a power they didn't even see coming, the question remains, where is Ye Junlin? We enter Li Wuji's dream, a world of fire and chaos. He sees himself in a past life, one of the last warriors fighting a losing battle against hordes of demonic beasts. A massive spider demon bears down on him, but this time he's different. A golden aura explodes around him as he declares himself the Blade God, and the people below cheer his name. With a determined roar, he charges forward, vowing that anyone who opposes his home will die. His blade cuts through the demon with ease. He promises himself that this time he will protect his world. He stands victorious as the crowd below chants his name. In his dream, he has finally become the hero he always wanted to be. Next, we enter Hong Qianye's illusion. He's in the great hall of his old sect, the place where his ambition was born. He stands before his kneeling followers, a sinister smile on his face. He declares the beginning of his era, his fire shining through eternity. This is his deepest desire, absolute power. Bai Shaoxi's dream, however, is much simpler. She's floating on a pink cloud in a world made of sweets, happily rolling around. For her, paradise is an endless supply of tasty food. But one person in the inn is not asleep. Ye Junlin sits by the window, sighing that he forgot to check in for his daily rewards. The system dumps a mountain of loot on him, including a new item, the longevity flute of 10,000 worlds. Oh well, he thinks, might as well play something. He brings the flute to his lips. Down in the courtyard, a serpent warrior looks up, wondering what that strange sound is. The music hits him, and he starts swaying with a blissful look on his face. The high priest sees this and furiously yells at him to hold the formation steady. But the music is too powerful. Soon, all the serpent warriors are losing control, their bodies moving to the rhythm as the priest demands to know who's doing this. One by one, his soldiers are overcome, their bodies twisting and dancing uncontrollably to the melody. In his room, Fan Dehen jolts awake. He'd been fighting off an illusion and realizes this is bad. He rushes to Miaoyi's side, shaking her to wake up. He places a hand on her forehead and channels his energy, shouting, "Disperse," as a golden light breaks the spell. And Miaoyi wakes up, disoriented. Fan Dezhen tells her they're trapped, and she realizes now why she felt so exhausted in her dream. He explains, it's a sinister illusion designed to trap people in their sleep until they die. And Miaoyi is horrified, wondering who would do such a thing. He tells her chaos is expected, but then notices the flute music has suddenly stopped. He tells her to stay put while he checks outside. As he flies out, he sees the Serpent Clan warriors, all of them slumped over, completely unconscious. He recognizes them instantly. Nether Abyss creatures. The infamous Serpent Clan. One of the warriors reports to the priest that they were interrupted. The priest isn't worried, believing most humans will choose to stay in their dreams. But then Fan Dezhen lands, his sword drawn, demanding to know how they dare attack humans. The priest just smirks, saying killing them now is just a bonus. Fan Dezhen stands his ground, but the priest scoffs. He may be a great ascension cultivator, but they have over a dozen elites backing him up. Suddenly, a new voice cuts in. "So it's you, freaks again?" Li Wuji appears, ready for another fight. Heng Qianye is right behind him, annoyed they tried to ambush him in his sleep. The serpent priest is stunned. More great ascension cultivators? Fan Dezhen is equally shocked, feeling a pressure from them that's far beyond normal, and wonders why their aura feels so familiar. The priest's soldiers panic, but he orders them to channel all their energy into him. He raises his staff, unleashing a massive wave of turquoise energy, commanding them all to fade away. But Li Wujie and Hong Qinye easily deflect the attack. Fan Dezhen tries to warn them it's a soul-draining technique, but the priest just laughs, asking what hope they think they have. And then, the flute music starts again. Li Wujie and Hong Qianye are annoyed, feeling a strange urge to dance. The priest recognizes the sound with dread. "No, Mo! Not that damned flute again!" The priest screams for it to stop, but his body betrays him, breaking into an involuntary dance. His men are doing the same as Li Wujie and Hong Qianye watch in disbelief. Fan Dezhen realizes it immediately. That flute is what woke him up. It's him. This inn is hiding monsters. And Miaoyi hears the music too, and she's captivated. Who is playing that flute, she wonders. It's so beautiful. She follows the sound to a window and peeks inside, where she sees him, Ye Junlin, effortlessly playing the flute, his white hair flowing, completely in control of the situation. Her face flushes bright red, her heart pounding. She's completely mesmerized, captivated by the handsome, powerful stranger. When you're used to being the center of attention, it's easy to mistake every look for admiration. And for Ye Junlin, every interruption is just another fan asking for an autograph. Just as Miaoyi is lost in her daze, a hand grabs her wrist, pulling her into the room. Ye Junlin yanks her forward with a smirk, assuming she tracked him down because she recognized him. Miaoyi is completely flustered, her mind blank and her face bright red as she's suddenly face to face with the handsome stranger. He leans in with pure confidence and asks, "Where do you want me to sign?" Miaoyi's heart is pounding. She's completely bewildered, wondering what is wrong with this guy. One second he's playing beautiful music, the next he's talking nonsense about an autograph. Ye Junlin gets impatient. The pressure is too much, and she finally blurts out her name, and Miaoyi, explaining she just came to thank him. He's taken aback. She wasn't here for an autograph? He recovers quickly, deciding to play along and introduces himself with a new alias. "Ah, my bad. I'm Ye Fan, from Hangzhou. I guess I'm somewhat famous?" Miaoyi's eyes go wide. From Hangzhou? She exclaims, her entire demeanor changing. Ye Junlun casually replies, yeah, why? She explains that since the rise of the Xuantian sect, she's realized the region has been grossly underestimated. Ye Junlin, amused, asks if she thinks better of it now. No, worse, she declares. She launches into a tirade about how the demon Ye Junlin lords over Hangzhou like a tyrant. Ye Junlin listens with a growing smile, finding her misguided sense of justice absolutely hilarious. She continues, convinced Ye Junlin has brainwashed everyone. She strikes a heroic pose, vowing that justice will always win and that she will one day kill that demon. Ye Junlin can barely contain his laughter. Seeing his reaction, she asks if she said something wrong. No, you're spot on, he says, struggling to keep a straight face as he encourages her quest to defeat himself. She promises to do her best and rushes out, only to run right into her guardian, Fan Dezhen. He scolds her for leaving, but she excitedly explains that she found the flutist. She proudly introduces Ye Fan, the master musician, to her guardian. Fan Dezhen bows respectfully, praising Ye Fan's incredible skill. Ye Junlin just waves it off, leaving Hong Qianye and Li Wujie completely confused. Ye Junlin dismisses them, telling Hong Qianye to call him Ye Bro for now. As they walk away, Hong Qianye glances at Li Wujie, who seems completely smitten with An Miao Yi. Li Wujie mutters about what a waste a beauty like her is, and the two disciples decide to take their leave. Fan Dezhen watches them go. He tells An Miao Yi that Ye Fan may have talent, but the other two, especially the one in red, give him a bad feeling. He notes how they followed Ye Fan's lead, and that strange sense of familiarity he felt earlier returns. He warns her there's something off about this group. Suddenly, a massive pillar of golden light erupts from a nearby mountain, shooting into the sky. The valley is open. A crowd gathers, shouting in excitement that the Medicine King Valley has finally opened, even if it's earlier than predicted. Miss, let's go! Fan Dezhen yells, and he and An Miao Yi immediately take off towards the light. Back in their room, Ye Junlin's crew realizes the valley has opened. It's time to go. Outside, a huge crowd of cultivators has gathered, buzzing with anticipation. They dream of finding supreme-grade herbs, but know the competition will be fierce. Fan Dezhen explains the stakes to An Miao Yi. Most are here for the million-year-old spirit herbs, but the true prize is the Medicine King's sentient, ancient herbs that top sects would go to war for. He points out a group of meditating monks. It's the Daedong Cultural Temple, led by Master Pandang, a renowned tribulation stage cultivator. He warns An Miao Yi to be careful. The monk Pandang senses a demonic presence. He recalls a past failure and is determined that this time he will eliminate the demons responsible. Ye Junlin's crew arrives cloaked and unnoticed. He's unimpressed by the herbs, but senses that something fun is about to happen. With a great roar of energy, the entrance to the valley fully materializes. The crowd surges forward, shouting for everyone to get inside. Fan Dezhen and An Miao Yi are ready to enter, along with the monks from the Daedong Temple. Image, CO4's 4331. And right behind them, Ye Junlin's crew steps into the glowing portal, ready for whatever awaits. A vortex of energy pulls them all in. They emerge into a breathtaking landscape. So, this is the Medicine King Valley, Li Wujie says. Incredible. But as soon as they step inside, Hong Qianye cries out in shock. What? My cultivation! It's been sealed to the 9th level of Qi refinement. Li Wujie confirms his is sealed too, but Ye Junlin just smirks. The valley's restrictions don't apply to his system-given powers. He thinks to himself that this is still too boring, but he'll just have to do what he does best, create some chaos. A great equalizer can bring out the best in some, and the absolute worst in others. With everyone knocked down to the same level, old grudges are about to come to a boil. Ye Junlin notices the rusty knife Li Wujie is holding and asks why he keeps that old piece of junk. Li Wujie looks at the blade with nostalgia, explaining it was the first one he ever used, never thinking he'd fight alongside it again. As they talk, Ye Junlin's system dings. He's arrived at the check-in location. He mentally confirms and receives his reward, a jar of Supreme Tao Enlightenment tea. He scoffs, thinking he doesn't need to cultivate anymore, but figures he can use it for iced tea. Meanwhile, Hong Qianye is watching him with a scheming look, thinking this is the perfect chance to finally crush his master. A sinister grin spreads across Hong Qianye's face as he imagines taking his sweet time, making his master suffer, and getting his long-awaited revenge. Li Wujie suddenly remembers a key rule. If anyone is about to die, they're instantly teleported outside. That means they can go all out without holding back. Hong Qianye is furious. What kind of dumb rule is that? His plan for revenge is ruined. Ye Junlin, however, knows his own power is untouched and can't wait to see the look on their faces when they find out. Suddenly, Bai Xiaoxi points ahead with a gasp. "Master, look! Those herbs, they're moving!" Li Wujie and Hong Qianye leap into the air, ecstatic. Hong Qianye shouts that heaven is on his side. Ye Junlin warns them not to let their guard down, reminding them these herbs are just as strong as they are now. The herbs charge forward, vowing to capture the humans. Li Wujie draws his rusty knife, ready to fight, while Hong Qianye unleashes a wave of fire. But the herbs retaliate, shooting powerful energy blasts that easily extinguish his flames. Hong Qianye is stunned. That shouldn't be possible. Enraged, he unleashes a more powerful technique, Crimson Soul Incineration. He sends a massive torrent of fire, but the herbs effortlessly counter again, taunting him for thinking they'd go easy on him. The herbs continue to mock him, with one crying out that it's going to get roasted by this crazy woman. The entire group of sentient plants unleashes a coordinated energy attack. The force of their combined blast completely overwhelms Hong Qianye's attack. He's shocked, unable to believe his best techniques are failing against mere plants. Li Wujie sees his senior brother is in trouble and leaps into action, unleashing a flurry of dark energy slashes. Ye Junlin watches thoughtfully. He finds it interesting that his disciples are struggling so much. He realizes the valley itself is protecting the herbs, making them invincible. But then, why aren't his disciples already dead? He figures it out. The fairness of this place is a lie. The one who created this valley is playing games. He raises two fingers, creating a sword of pure energy. "Let's see how you handle this," he thinks. With a single, effortless flick, he sends a needle-thin blade of energy flying forward. The energy pierces right through the herb's defenses, hitting a small mushroom and setting it ablaze. Li Wujie and Hong Qianye seize the opportunity. The herbs panic, wondering why they can't hold on anymore. One of them starts begging for mercy, pleading with the fairy lady not to burn them. But Hong Qianye shows no mercy. With a cold "humph, die," he unleashes another wave of fire. This time, his flames engulf the entire army of plants, burning them to ash as they scream. As Hong Qianye prepares to finish them off, Li Wujie stops him, reminding him that these are all precious herbs. He suggests they collect them instead. Hong Qianye scoffs, but Ye Junlan looks pleased, telling Li Wujie to pack them up so they can make soup later. As Li Wujie gathers the defeated herbs, Bai Xiaoxi notices one of the little flower creatures is still twitching. Just as she points it out, a vine shoots out from the ground, grabbing the flower. The vine pulls back and then fires a distress signal into the sky, a glowing red axe. "That sneaky thing got me," Bai Xiaoxi cries out. Ye Junlin identifies it as a distress signal from the Axe Gang. Hong Qianye is furious they called for backup, but Ye Junlin just smirks, reminding him how cocky he was acting earlier. Li Wujie looks worried, saying whatever's coming next, they're in trouble. He and Hong Qianye start debating the motives of the valley's creator. Ye Junlin cuts them off. "Enough, one step at a time." He looks off into the distance. "I want to see what that old faker is really up to." Image HH44033333. Deep within the valley, the signal has been received. The leader of the Axe Gang, the Golden Ginseng King, has been summoned. He sits on a throne of roots, a powerful humanoid ginseng creature. As a king-ranked herb, his power is immense. He demands to know who dared to touch his Axe Gang. His lieutenants report that they don't know who the attacker is, but speculate it might be the humans. The king roars for silence. He rises from his throne, his energy flaring as he prepares to investigate. He grabs his massive, axe-like weapon. The Medicine King Valley opens once again, he growls. This king will personally see who dares to challenge the Axe Gang. A new, powerful foe is on his way. In a place where strength is everything, being knocked down to the level of a beginner can be a brutal lesson in humility. And for the proud cultivators of the world, that lesson is about to be a painful one. Near the entrance of the valley, chaos has erupted. Cultivators who were confident just moments ago are now screaming for their lives, ensnared by sentient vines and monstrous plants. A group of sect disciples is completely overwhelmed. One screams in frustration, wondering why these herbs are so powerful, while others are already fleeing, shouting that the valley is a scam. But not everyone is struggling. The monk, Pandeng, stands his ground, unleashing a powerful Buddhist technique. He declares that this time he'll show them true might. His disciples watch in awe, but their celebration is cut short as another wave of herbs approaches. Pandeng stands firm, confident that his indestructible body will see them through. But this new enemy is different. A massive, electrified vine smashes through his defensive barrier with ease. The vine's tendrils wrap around him, but Pandeng isn't worried. He scoffs, explaining that he's forged his body into a weapon itself. A golden aura explodes around him as he activates his Vajra physique, declaring himself untouchable. He challenges the valley to throw whatever it wants at him, but as he flexes, the vines simply tighten their grip, and he lets out a scream of agony. His unbreakable body, it seems, isn't quite as unbreakable as he thought. Despite the pain, he overpowers the lesser herbs and orders his disciples to gather them as they move deeper into the valley. Elsewhere, Fan Dezhen and Anmiaoyi are recovering. He praises her for her celestial star physique, but is deeply troubled by how powerful these herbs are. And Miaoyi is starting to lose her nerve, complaining that she's getting scared and just wants to go home. Suddenly, a massive vine erupts from the ground, lashing out towards her. She screams as the vine wraps around her leg, its surface crackling with electrical energy. It yanks her into the air, shocking her relentlessly as Fan Dezhen cries out her name in horror. He quickly fires a blast of energy, shouting, "Let her go!" But more vines shoot out, easily batting his attack aside and overwhelming him. As he's thrown back, he recognizes the creature, the nine-fold Thunder Vine, a legendary mid-grade medicine king. And Miaoyi struggles, crying for her Uncle Fan to save her. But the Thunder Vine just laughs, finding her struggle hilarious. Fan Dezhen looks on in despair, knowing his suppressed power is no match for a creature of this level. And Miaoyi sees his struggle and tells him through her tears that it's okay, that he did his best. He gets on his knees, begging the Herb King to spare her and take him instead. But the vine just mocks him, saying it has no intention of letting them go. The vine intensifies its electric attack, and Miaoyi screams in agony. Just as things look their bleakest, a new group appears on the path. It's Ye Junlan's crew. He watches the scene with a bored expression and comments, "Tentacle play? That's messed up." Fan Dezhen sees them and immediately begs for their help, promising a great debt from his sect. Li Wujie recognizes the nine-fold Thundervine. Hong Qianye tells Ye Junlin he should handle it, but Ye Junlin pushes him forward. Li Wujie takes charge, telling Hong Qianye to cover him. Hong Qianye reluctantly agrees to go with Li Tidan, while Ye Junlin smirks at their bickering. The two leap into battle. Hong Qianye unleashes a torrent of fire, challenging the vine to a fight. The vine roars in anger that these damn humans dare to harm it. Hong Qianye counters, unleashing his powerful ice-soul demon flame. The vine roars, warning him not to push his luck. Fan Dezhen retreats with Miaoyi. She's shot there holding their own and has a painful realization. Maybe she's not the genius she always thought she was. Fan Dezhen tries to comfort her, but then recalls that Ye Fan said he was from the Wastelands. The word sends a jolt through him. Wastelands? No way, the Thundervine is enraged. It unleashes a massive wave of electricity, threatening to shock them until they can't breathe. Fan Dezhen sees even Hong Qianye and Li Wujie are losing ground. Ye Junlin decides it's time to step in, but before he can, Bai Xiaoxi shouts that she's coming to the rescue. She transforms into her mouse form and leaps into the fray. Ye Junlin is surprised. She's never volunteered to fight before. He decides to let her, curious to see her potential. Her brothers see her running in and wonder why the dumb rat is joining now. Li Wujie yells for her to stay back, warning that it's too dangerous. The Thundervine turns its attention to the tiny mouse, smugly asking if she thinks it'll go easy on her. But Bai Xiaoxi is not intimidated. With a determined look, she squeaks, "Don't underestimate Mousy." Courage isn't about not being afraid. It's about being terrified and charging in anyway. And for a little mouse who's never had to fight, this is her moment to prove she's more than just a pet. A golden aura explodes around Bai Xiaoxi as she charges the massive Thundervine, screaming, "Don't you dare bully my senior brothers." The Thundervine lets out a piercing shriek of agony as the tiny mouse slams right into it. With a flash of golden light, Bai Xiaoxi's attack rips through the vine's tendrils, sending splinters flying everywhere. Everyone is completely stunned. Huang Qianye can't believe the goofy rat just unleashed such incredible power. Li Wujie is just as shocked, and even Ye Junlin is impressed, realizing this is the true power of the immortal body he gave her. Seizing the opportunity, Huang Qianye and the Wujie launch a coordinated attack, determined to finish it off. Their two powerful techniques combine, engulfing the Thundervine in a maelstrom of fire and blades. The once mighty Medicine King is reduced to a pile of smoldering, blackened wood. "Yay! We won!" Bai Xiaoxi cheers, looking hopefully at Huang Qianye, thinking surely he'll praise her now. But Huang Qianye just glares, his pride clearly wounded. He snaps at her for bragging, bringing tears to her eyes as she wonders if she did something wrong. Li Wujie, however, rushes over to praise her, telling her she was awesome. Seeing this, Huang Qianye reluctantly mumbles that, yeah, she surprised them. Bai Xiaoxi beams, shyly saying she just wanted to help. Just then, Anmiaoyi and Fan Dezhen approach, thanking them for their help. Li Wujie brushes it off. Anmiaoyi takes his hands, her eyes sparkling with admiration, as a shy Bai Xiaoxi hides behind her master. Anmiaoyi tells her not to be shy, saying she was amazing and super cute. Bai Xiaoxi is ecstatic, turning to Ye Junlin and telling him this big sister thinks she's cute. Fan Dezhen hears Bai Xiaoxi call Ye Junlin master, and his suspicion deepens. It seems his hunch about this group was right all along. Ye Junlin pats Bai Xiaoxi's head, telling her she looks proud of herself as she giggles happily. And Miaoyi asks Ye Junlin what kind of monster he must be to raise such a powerful girl. He plays along, saying he trained her with great care. Huang Qianye mutters under his breath that he didn't exactly teach her how to cook. Miaoyi is touched by his kindness, but can't shake the feeling she's seen this group of four somewhere before. Ye Junlin senses her suspicion, hoping the sharp little girl doesn't figure anything out. Their conversation is interrupted by the arrival of a new threat, the Golden Ginseng King and his army of herbs, summoned by the earlier distress signal. The Ginseng King roars, furious that demons dare to trespass on his sacred ground. He challenges them, asking how they dare to face him. Ye Junlin recognizes the axe symbol and figures this must be the Axe clan they were warned about. Li Wujie turns to Bai Xiaoxi, asking if she can help again. With a determined look, she puffs out her chest and promises to do her best. The Golden Ginseng King wastes no time, ordering his forces to capture them all. Huang Qianye and Li Wujie charge forward, while Bai Xiaoxi opens her mouth wide, unleashing a powerful sonic scream. The Ginseng King scoffs, mocking them for sending a mere rat to fight him, and surrounds himself with a powerful green aura. But Bai Xiaoxi's scream intensifies, the sonic waves slamming into him relentlessly. It's too much for her. She gets dizzy and, with tears in her eyes, declares that she's not fighting anymore and quits. The Ginseng King sneers, telling her she's no match for him. He raises his weapon, ready to strike down the filthy rodent. Bai Xiaoxi screams in terror, but just as the axe is about to hit, Ye Junlin appears, effortlessly blocking the blow with just 2 fingers. "You're way too cocky for a damn ginseng," he says coolly. "Guess I'll boil you into soup." Bai Xiaoxi hides behind him, whimpering that she embarrassed him. Ye Junlin tells her not to worry and to go help the others while he handles this one. With a determined, "Got it," she scampers off. Ye Junlin faces the king, knowing that if he fights back, his system will be exposed. But then, the system chimes in, offering to mask his true power for a small price, making it look like he's still at chi condensation. "Great," Ye Junlin thinks with a grin, "then I can go wild." He easily dodges the king's powerful attack, and Miaoyi and Fan Dezhen watch in disbelief, unable to understand how a chi condensation user can be so strong. Fan Dezhen begins to suspect Ye Fan is somehow bypassing the valley's rules. The Ginseng King is furious, demanding to know what trick the human pulled. Ye Junlin just shrugs, taunting him by asking if he wants to try hitting him again. The king roars, unleashing his most powerful attack, the Heaven King Fist. Ye Junlin simply counters with his own Human King Fist, a massive golden fist of energy. Image, Shay Force 46L38. The golden fist smashes through the king's attack with ease. It slams directly into the Golden Ginseng King, shattering his wooden armor and sending him flying. Everyone is speechless. The defeated king lies on the ground, groaning that he cheated. But Ye Junlin just stands there calmly and says, "I swear on the heavenly Tao, my cultivation is at the chi condensation level." Technically, he's not even lying. When a king falls, the entire kingdom trembles. And when that king is a giant talking ginseng, it means there's a new, much scarier predator at the top of the food chain. The herbs of the Axe Gang look on in terror. Their invincible king was defeated by a single human. Meanwhile, Hong Qianye and Li Wujie are in disbelief, unable to comprehend how their master just took down a powerful medicine king while they were all supposed to be at the same level. One of the herbs screams for the others to run, but Li Wujie isn't letting them get away. He grins, declaring that he's not letting a single one of these top-tier treasures escape. Ye Junlin praises him for his good work and tells him to collect all the herbs. Li Wujie humbly thanks his master, saying it was all thanks to him. The commotion attracts other cultivators, who are shocked to see the ground littered with defeated herbs. They wonder who could be strong enough to pull this off. Speaking of which, Master Pandeng and his disciples arrive on the scene. One of his monks points out the fallen ginseng king, and Pandeng immediately recognizes it as a top-grade herb king. The other cultivators are furious, complaining that this group is stealing treasures from under their noses again. Pandeng agrees and steps forward to claim the prize. But Li Wujie is having none of it. He moves to block the monk, asking if the treasure is his just because he said so. The abbot tries to play the peacekeeper, but Li Wujie calls them bald monks who are no better than thieves. The monk retorts, asking what right he has to it. Pandeng's face darkens. Li Wujie just smirks, his aura flaring red, and asks the baldy if he's looking for a fight. Pandeng is enraged that this insolent brat dares to challenge him. The other cultivators wonder who this kid thinks he is, but Li Wujie doesn't care. He just sees another strong opponent. Pandeng asks for his name. Li Wujie puffs out his chest and proudly declares, "Listen up, my folk call me Li Tiadan." The monks burst out laughing at his ridiculous name. Pandeng shakes his head, sensing Li Wujie's killing intent and offering to purify his soul. "Bring it on!" Li Wujie roars, thrilled at the chance to duel a tribulation stage cultivator, and unleashes his Chaos Heavenblade art. His powerful slash, imbued with dark, chaotic energy, flies toward Pandeng. The attack slams into the monk, but he stands his ground, his body glowing with a golden light. Li Wujie attacks again, and Pandeng counters with his own golden Buddha seal, meeting the attack head-on. The onlookers are amazed, unable to believe this. Li Tiadan is holding his own against their master. They assume the master must be holding back. But Pandeng is genuinely struggling. He can't believe he can't defeat this kid. He realizes he has no choice but to use that move. He channels his energy, his body glowing intensely as he prepares his ultimate defensive technique. Li Wujie hesitates, sensing a change in the monk's power. "Sir, give up," Pandeng says confidently. "Even if you strike for 3 days straight, you'll never harm me." Li Wujie's response is to simply spit right in his face. Enraged and disgusted, Pandeng screams, "You demon spawn!" Hong Qianye sees his opening and joins the fight, landing a solid punch on the distracted monk. But the punch has no effect. Hong Qianye is stunned. "Baldy, are you part of a turtle or what?" he asks, mocking his defense. Pandeng calmly replies that none of them will be leaving the valley. Hong Qianye scoffs at the threat, telling him once they're out, he's dead meat. Ye Junlin finally steps in, reminding Pandeng that he supplied his temple with herbs, implying the monk owes him. He asks whose treasure it is now. The monk replies with a classic Buddhist saying, "Only what's in your hand truly belongs to you." Hong Qianye loses his patience. "Bald bastard. You're asking for it," he screams, charging in again. Pandeng simply stands there, telling him to stop struggling, as the Herb King is now his. But as Hong Qianye's attack is about to land, Ye Junlin appears in a flash, delivering a powerful punch of his own. Fondagene looks on in terror. That punch was so powerful, it almost broke the limits of the entire valley. The punch connects, sending Pandeng flying. The impact creates a massive explosion, kicking up a huge cloud of dust. Pandeng is sent sliding back, digging a long trench in the ground. His disciples can't believe it, mocking Ye Junlin's weak little trick. Pandeng, however, is silent, a look of pure shock on his face. Ye Junlin stands there with a smug grin. "That punch! How'd it feel?" he asks. He explains that he held back because he didn't want to kill him and cause rumors. With a final warning, he turns to leave, telling the monk that Buddha is merciful. As Ye Junlin's crew walks away, Pandeng's disciples are confused why their master is letting them go. Pandeng glares after them, then simply says, "Got it, let's go." Ye Junlin smirks to himself. "At least you know your place, bald bastard." The monks depart, leaving the battlefield and the treasure behind. But as soon as they are a safe distance away, Pandang coughs violently, spitting up a huge mouthful of blood. Image, Shay 4 Source 7045. His disciples rush to his side asking if he's all right. He waves them off, claiming it's just minor injuries. But internally he's reeling. He can't understand who that man was or how he could be so strong. He shakes it off, vowing that once he gets a supreme herb, he will break through to the next life. When the hunters become the hunted, even the most powerful kings must decide. Do they bow to the new threat, or do they call upon a power even they are afraid of? Deep within the Medicine King Valley, at the headquarters of the Herb Kings, a council is in session. The flower-like Herb King, Jin Yingzi, addresses them with grim news. Human cultivators are rampaging through their valley, and 2 of their own have already fallen. They must decide now, hide or stand and fight. The blood jade flame-bone bamboo roars that this is their land, and they must fight back. The Mushroom King agrees, saying they are the true rulers of this place. But others are not so confident. They argue that the humans are incredibly strong this time, especially the silver-haired one who beat the Ginseng King in a single move. A new voice speaks up. The ancient, suggests they ask him to act, a terrifying figure who once followed the Herblord himself. If he acts, the humans will be crushed. The others are hesitant, knowing this figure is difficult. But with the valley facing annihilation, they have no other choice. With no time to waste, they decide to gamble it all. 2 of the kings set off to find their hidden trump card. They arrive at a secluded waterfall where a lone figure meditates on a rocky pillar. This is the Damo King, a supreme-grade herb king. The 2 kings kneel, begging the Damo King to save the valley, their voices filled with desperation. The figure's eyes snap open, glowing with a soft blue light. A powerful wave of green energy erupts from him as he awakens. The pressure is immense, knocking the 2 kings back. They shout in excitement that he's finally awake. The Damo King, a small, timid-looking blue mushroom, pops his head out from behind the pillar. He trembles, hiding. "You! Don't come near me! Just say what you need from there," he stammers, clearly terrified. One of the kings explains to the other that the Damo King is extremely socially anxious and hates being disturbed. They plead their case, explaining that humans are slaughtering their kin, and he's the only one who can save them. The Damo King is confused. He thought the valley's rules were meant to prevent this from happening. They explain that these intruders are different, and as the strongest among them, the entire tribe will rally behind him. "No, I can't," he whimpers. "I just want to live quietly." He tries to rationalize that the humans will be kicked out eventually, but they press him, warning that those humans' real target is him, the oldest and most powerful herb in the valley. They paint a terrifying picture of him being caught, humiliated, and auctioned off in public. The thought is too much for the anxious mushroom, and he begs them to stop. They make their final plea: just defeat the strongest one, and they'll handle the rest. Then he can go back to sleeping in peace. "Oh, fine," he finally agrees, his voice trembling. "I'll deal with the strongest one. You all handle the rest." The kings thank him profusely as the Damo King shyly asks them to wait outside. The Ghost Lotus still has her doubts, but the other king is confident in his power. Meanwhile, a different group of cultivators is trying to bribe Master Pandang for some of his herbs. Pandang, ever the righteous monk, tells them he will help those with destiny. The cultivators immediately start shouting their requests, offering to pay any price. Pandang calmly agrees to help, but their negotiations are interrupted by a new wave of attacking herb kings. Pandang's subordinate shouts a warning. The abbot turns, a calm look on his face. "Excellent," he says. "I was just looking for you." The Ghost Lotus mocks the monk, but Pandang is thrilled, seeing the attacking herb kings as a blessing from Buddha. "Stubborn rebels," he declares, "I shall send you to your next lives," as he easily deflects an attack. His defense is incredible. One of the herb kings recognizes their target immediately. "Damo King, that's the bald one." Pandang freezes. "Demon King?" he mutters. "Is there some demonic powerhouse in this valley?" He turns just in time to see one of the herb kings looking past him with a confused expression. The little blue mushroom, the Damo King, floats down from the sky. "Damo King," the other herbs cry, "it's all up to you now, or we're all going into the stew pot." The Damo King sees the crowd and gets nervous. Pandang recognizes the name Damo from ancient texts, recalling it's a supreme herb that can grant instant ascension. Pandang decides this is a gift from the heavens. He declares the ancient herb wants to serve the Buddha, and he lunges for the mushroom. But the Damo King easily parries his hand with a single powerful slap. "You're too much!" "Why did you slap my head?" the mushroom cries out indignantly. The other cultivators are stunned, realizing this is a peak supreme grade herb king. Another herb warns the Damo king that the monk is trying to capture him. The Damo king declares he won't let that happen, but Pandang is confident, saying his diamond-hard body is unbreakable. The Damo king unleashes his secret art. Mushroom wrath shakes the world. He slams his fists down on Pandang's head, shattering his unbreakable defense. When you're so powerful that even the world's rules don't apply to you, what's left to do but sit back and enjoy the show? In the heart of the valley, the tiny Damo king unleashes its ultimate technique, slamming Pandang face first into the dirt and yelling that this is what he gets for messing with it. All you can hear is Pandang's muffled scream of pure agony. Pandang struggles to his knees, his face a mask of dirt, bruises, and humiliation. He mutters that the little brat will pay for this, but he's not getting up anytime soon. Before he can move, dozens of sinister black vines shoot out from the ground, coiling around him and pinning him completely as he lets out another helpless scream. Totally restrained, Pandang looks up in despair. He's been beaten by a kid and now by a tiny mushroom. His pride is shattered, and he yells for them to just kill him now. But the Damo king just gives a thumbs up, saying its problem is dealt with. A group of monstrous herb kings emerge from the darkness, chuckling that they'll take it from here. Pandang's face goes pale as he realizes his nightmare is only just beginning. A raw, primal fear grips him. He flashes back to a horrible memory from 100,000 years ago, realizing with dread that he's about to relive that same humiliation all over again. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the valley, Hong Chenye, Lai Wuji, and An Miaoyi are locked in battle with a giant, sentient tree monster. Ye Junlin watches from a safe distance, a smirk on his lips. He senses a new, powerful energy nearby, stronger than any of the other medicine kings. He realizes the true power of this valley is finally starting to show itself. The giant tree, however, has had enough. With tears streaming down its face, it begs them to stop, offering them anything they want if they just leave it alone. An Miaoyi's eyes land on a cluster of beautiful, glowing fruits. Seeing his chance, the tree eagerly offers them up. The tree doesn't just offer. It shakes its branches and showers the entire area with the glowing blue orbs, telling them to take it all. Fan Dezhen's eyes widen. He tells An Miaoyi this is a star origin fruit, an incredibly rare herb that will perfectly boost her special physique. They're both ecstatic, and Miaoyi holds the fruit, realizing this trip was a massive success. It's a true heaven-sent opportunity. The tree meekly asks if it can go now. Hong Qianye just yells, "Scram!" As it disappears, Ye Junlin strolls over, explaining that these are the true treasures of the valley, hidden behind all the fakes. Li Wujie and Hong Qianye are confused why their own senses didn't pick up on them, and Miaoyi offers the fruits to Ye Than, but he just waves her off, telling her to keep them. Fan Dezhen is deeply impressed by his generosity. Ye Junlin just dismisses the formalities and tells them it's time to head deeper in. A short walk later, they stop dead in their tracks. Before them is a field overflowing with more king-grade herbs than they can count, and in the middle of this field is a truly bizarre scene. The mighty cultivators of the Eastern Domain are being thoroughly tormented by the herb kings, used as fertilizer or whipped by a ginseng monster. Bai Xiaoxi points toward a strange-looking black thing. Ye Junlin squints, a grin spreading across his face as he realizes it's the old bald guy, Pandam, who has already been turned into whatever that is. And there he is. Pandang, the great abbot, is dangling from vines while another cultivator is forced to bark like a dog. The herbs are clearly enjoying the show. Ye Junlin's disciples are in awe. They whisper that the force behind these herbs has to be an elite grand medicine king. Just then, a large mushroom king stomps toward them, demanding they get on their knees and beg for mercy. But it can tell these guys have no intention of begging. We see Pandang again, covered in gunk. He warns Ye Junlin to enjoy being human while he can, because soon he'll regret ever being so naive. The Mushroom King recognizes Ye Junlin, calling him out as the one who took down the other kings. It sneers, saying now he's facing the great Mushroom King, and commands all the other herbs to bow and welcome their true king. In an instant, every herb in the vicinity bows down in reverence. Even Pandang is terrified, but Ye Yunlan just looks on with a curious smile. A whoosh of air cuts through the forest as a small, determined-looking blue mushroom zips between the trees. The Damo King lands with a thump. Bai Xiaoxi tilts her head, asking if this is him, the great Demon King. The tiny mushroom puffs out its chest and proudly declares, "Yeah, that's right!" Suddenly, Hong Qianye's eyes go wide. He points, shouting that it's the immortal chaos mushroom. Ye Junlin casually asks what that is. Hong Qianye explains that it's a legendary, supreme-grade herb, the closest thing to a true immortal herb that exists in this world. Fan Dezhen immediately panics, telling them they need to get out of here now, but Ye Junlin just holds up a hand, completely unfazed, and says, "Don't panic. I've got this." The Damo King erupts in a massive wave of dark energy, screaming about why humans are so awful and always thinking about eating it. An overwhelming pressure crushes down on everyone. Hong Qianye grits his teeth, realizing the gap between them is just too wide, but Ye Junlan just smirks. A golden flame ignites at his fingertips as he says, "Perfect timing." With a snap of his fingers, a blinding flash of golden light explodes outwards, engulfing the entire area. The Herb Kings stare in shock. And Miao Yi points out the obvious. Young Master Yi's attacks, they aren't being restricted by the valley's rules at all. As his power swirls around him, Ye Junlin's voice rings out, cold and absolute. He declares that he is the master of this valley, and anyone who enters without his permission is a thief. And now, it's time for judgment. He stands at the center of a massive golden magic circle, bathed in an almost divine light. Everyone stares, a single question on their minds. Is he really human? Hong Qianye watches, his face a mixture of shock and utter despair. He refuses to believe his master is that kind of being because it means he will never, ever escape his clutches. Li Wujie sees his friend's distress and asks Wang Chuihua if he's okay. Hong Qianye, his pride wounded by the hated nickname, just slaps his hand away and yells, "Get lost!" From the ground, Pandang stares with wide, disbelieving eyes. He just watched this same guy effortlessly slap the Great Mushroom King. His entire understanding of the world, his very Buddha heart, is about to collapse. When you're facing a power that ignores the very laws of reality, you have two choices: bow down or get put down. The Damo King staggers to its feet, unable to comprehend what just happened. It was sent flying by a mere human. How is that possible? It remembers the herb sage himself setting the valley's seal, a power that no one below a true immortal should ever be able to touch. Ye Junlin stands over it, his finger still glowing with leftover energy. He looks down with a cold, dismissive glare and tells the mushroom that if it has no other tricks, it's about to become soup. That one threat sends the Damo King into a blind rage. Screaming, it pours every last bit of its energy into one final, desperate charge, straight at Ye Junlin. But Ye Junlin just smirks. A fiery aura erupts around him as he catches the attack with a single hand, the impact sending shockwaves through the air while he remains perfectly still. Watching from the side, another Herb King realizes the terrifying truth. This man isn't just strong, he's ignoring the rules of their world, wielding a chaotic power that no human should possess. A wicked grin spreads across Ye Junlin's face. He casually mentions his undying overlord body as he channels a torrent of golden energy directly into the helpless mushroom. A massive pillar of golden light erupts from the ground, blasting the Damo King with overwhelming force and carving a deep scar into the forest floor. The Damo King lies defeated in a smoking crater, its pride completely shattered. A wave of despair washes over the other Herb Kings. It's over. Their home is finished. Lying there, broken and alone, the Damo King reflects on its long life as nothing more than a powerful mushroom. For the first time, it wishes it could be human. At that exact moment, a notification pops into Ye Junlin's mind. A new disciple with a unique physique has been detected. The reward for recruiting it is a powerful new technique. A cunning smile touches Ye Junlin's lips. He looks down at the defeated mushroom and offers it a chance to live, knowing full well it's terrified of dying. But to his complete surprise, the Damo King defiantly shouts back, "I refuse!" Tears of frustration and wounded pride well up in its eyes. It is a being of immense power, and it refuses to be toyed with. Ye Junlan is completely thrown off. He just blinks, letting out a confused, "Huh?" He walks closer, clearly annoyed, telling the mushroom he hasn't even stated his terms yet. Does it actually want to die? Bruised but stubborn, the Damo King confirms that yes, it would rather die. Ye Junlin pauses. The mushroom seems serious, but the system reward is just too good to pass up. A sly grin appears as he changes his strategy, telling the mushroom that before it dies, it just has to do him one little favor. That favor? Become my disciple. The Damo King is stunned silent. Who on earth demands someone become their disciple right before killing them? The nerve of this guy! A dark, sinister aura surrounds Ye Junlin. He leans in with a creepy smile and says, "Shroom, bro, if you help me out." Then his tone flips, becoming bright and cheerful. He promises that as a reward, he'll make sure to blast it into soup with absolutely no pain at all. The Damo King is completely flustered, yelling that this is a crazy way to ask for a favor. Ye Junlin's expression turns to ice. Fine. If it won't cooperate, he'll just toss it in a pot with some chicken and herbs and boil it into a nice, slow-cooked stew. He'll even make sure to lick the bowl clean. With a maniacal grin, he summons a giant golden ladle, ready to make good on his threat. The Damo King starts to sweat, utterly terrified by this absolute jerk. Ye Junlin takes a single step forward, and that's all it takes. The Damo King breaks, throwing its hands up and shouting, "Fine, I'll be your disciple. I agree." A system notification confirms his success, granting him a bonus reward. With his mission complete, Ye Junlan's demeanor flips instantly. He gently tells his new disciple to get up, assuring it that from now on, he'll be the one to protect it. The little mushroom looks up, its eyes sparkling with gratitude. Ye Junlin explains that he is passing down a cultivation technique. He touches his finger to the mushroom's cap, sending a stream of pure golden energy flowing into it. The mushroom is enveloped in a blinding light as ancient scrolls materialize around it, filling its mind with a profound scripture. It realizes this technique will finally allow it and its kind to cultivate and stand up to humans. When the smoke clears, a young boy with vibrant teal hair stands where the mushroom was. He looks down at his new hands, completely in awe. Everyone is stunned into silence. Ba Xiaoqi just cheers, excited to have a new junior brother. The boy kneels and bows deeply, thanking his master for his kindness and formally accepting his new role. Ye Junlin looks down, pleased with his promising new student. Heng Qianye watches from the side, his expression dark and suspicious. He mutters that the bastard was still hiding secrets. His master didn't just recruit the mushroom, he helped it become human. There has to be a scheme behind this. Then a horrifying thought dawns on him. This mushroom could evolve into a true, immortal herb. His master might be planning to raise it, only to kill and consume it later for its power. The thought sends a shiver down his spine. Meanwhile, Pandeng is still strung up in the background, his pride completely gone. He just screams for someone to put him out of his misery, the only one who truly lost everything today. Ye Junlin turns to his new disciple. Now that he's joined the sect, he needs a proper name. The boy looks up, his eyes sparkling with anticipation. With a dramatic flair, Ye Junlin declares his name will be Xiao He. The boy deflates a little, but decides a plain name might suit him just fine. He bows again, thanking his master. Ye Junlin gets down to business, asking Xiao He why the legendary herb sage would suppress human cultivators. Xiao He explains that it's because the sage wasn't human. He was one of them, a herb, who created the seal to protect his own kind. Ye Junlin and the Wu Jie are taken aback. The legendary herb sage wasn't human? Xiao He begins to tell the story of the sage, one of the first herbs to gain intelligence. He was immensely powerful, but every human who found him saw him only as a prize to be consumed for their own power. Ye Junlin places a comforting hand on his shoulder. He understands now. The sage must have made an incredible sacrifice to protect his people. A crowd of herb kings gathers behind them, their expressions filled with old sorrow. Xiao He explains that, back then, countless human factions raided their valley, treating them like little more than ingredients. The sage fought back with everything he had, but his power was limited, while human greed was endless. And so, the sage made the ultimate sacrifice. He gave up his own chance to ascend to the immortal realm, offering himself up in exchange for a permanent protective seal over the valley. This created a new set of rules, a sanctuary where high-tier herbs could finally cultivate in peace. Li Wujie looks on, deeply moved. The sage sacrificed his own future for his people. He was a true hero. Fan Dezhen admits he's ashamed. He had always admired the herb sage, but now, knowing the truth, he realizes how monstrously his own kind had acted. Just then, a swirling purple vortex rips open the sky. The exit portal has opened. Their time in the valley is up. The human cultivators don't hesitate for a second. They scramble towards the exit, screaming that they're leaving this hellhole for good. Pandeng, looking utterly broken and disgraced, limps away. He swears to himself that once he's free, he will wash away this humiliation with blood. But for now, all he can do is run. Sometimes, the hardest choice isn't deciding to fight, but deciding to leave everything you've ever known for a future you can't even imagine. The swirling purple vortex of the exit portal tears open the sky. It's time to leave the Medicine King Valley. But as Ye Junlin and his disciples prepare to go, one of them is missing. Ye Junlin turns to his newest disciple, asking if he's not coming with them. Xiaohe hesitates. He'd only planned to get rid of the intruders and go back to his long sleep. But now, with a master and a new life, he looks at his old discarded mushroom shell and wonders if he should really leave his home for a world he doesn't know. Ye Junlin doesn't push him. He just says he respects the choice, and that maybe, if fate allows, they'll meet again in another 100,000 years. With a casual wave, he and his crew turn and fly towards the portal, leaving the boy to decide for himself. Xiaohe watches them go, a hollow feeling growing in his chest. Is he really just going to stay here? He looks at the other mushrooms playing, then at his own new form. Is he really going to go back to that same lonely life? In that moment, something inside him snaps. He shouts that his master doesn't get to decide for him. Igniting a brilliant blue aura, he declares that the world is huge, and he wants to see it for himself. He rockets after them, shouting for his master to wait up and take him along. Ye Junlin just smiles. His plan worked perfectly. The remaining Herb Kings watch their former protector leave, completely bewildered. One of them wonders if turning human broke his brain. Another grumbles that he must have been forced, but is just glad the humans are finally gone, so they can have peace for another 100,000 years. Outside the valley, the other cultivators watch as Ye Junlin's group emerges. They're filled with envy, certain that the group who sided with that monster must have made a fortune inside. All they can do is sigh, knowing they missed their chance. A battered and bandaged figure stumbles out of the portal. It's Pandeng. He grits his teeth, muttering that he's finally out of that damn place. His disciples from the Sky Temple rush towards him, their faces beaming. They eagerly ask how it was, assuming that with their great master leading the charge, they must have come back with incredible treasures. Pandeng turns, his face a storm cloud of pure rage. He snarls at them. Do I look like I made a killing? His disciples freeze, immediately bowing and apologizing for their mistake. Suddenly, a powerful voice echoes through the forest, commanding everyone who just came out of the valley to stand still and not move. They're surrounded by a rough-looking gang of bandits. The leader warns them that anyone who resists will be dealt with ruthlessly, while one of his followers proudly boasts that their master, the great Ye Junlin, is a pseudo-immortal. The crowd erupts in anger. A robbery? Are you serious? Miaoyi is furious, but her guardian quickly shushes her, warning her not to cause trouble unless she has a death wish. Just then, the real Ye Junlin steps through the portal. His eyes glow with amusement as he spots the bandits. A slow grin spreads across his face. He can't believe his luck. His disciples are far less amused. Hong Qianye and Li Wujie stare in disbelief. How dare some lowly bandits impersonate them? Li Wujie's fists clench. To tarnish the name of the Blade Demon by turning him into a common thief is an unforgivable insult. Hidden behind a tree, a nervous Xiaohe peeks out at the crowd. Bai Xiaoxi pats his shoulder reassuringly, telling him not to worry. When he shyly asks her name, she brightly introduces herself as Bai Xiaoxi. Xiaohe is delighted, asking his new senior sister to look after him. But then he notices something odd, asking why the bandits' clothes look so much like theirs. Bai Xiaoxi just sighs, explaining that they're being impersonated. Xiaohe is stunned, remarking that you humans have some very strange customs. Back in the clearing, Pandeng decides to make his move. He unleashes a powerful golden aura, stepping forward to confront the bandits. The real bandit chief, a hulking old man with a long white beard, steps out. His one visible eye glows with an eerie light as he calmly asks Pandeng if he's sure he wants to do this. The bandits are shocked. They recognize Pandeng as a powerful master on the same level as their own chief. The leader of the impersonators just tells his crew not to panic, confident that their master Ye Junlin can handle it. The bandit chief scoffs at Pandeng, boasting that when he makes a move, no one in the entire eastern domain can stop him. Pandeng's disciples whisper frantically, reminding him that this man claims to be Ye Junlin. A flicker of understanding flashes in Pandeng's eyes. He knows the real Ye Junlin is standing right behind him. With a sly smile, he turns to the bandit chief, puts his hands together and says, "Amitabha, Brother Ye, I have heard so much about you." The bandit chief and the entire crowd are completely baffled. Why is the notoriously arrogant Master Pandeng being so polite? Has Ye Junlin really become that powerful? Li Wujie turns to his master, asking if that bald monk is actually showing him respect. Ye Junlin just smirks, telling him the old monk is full of schemes and they should just sit back and watch the show. The bandit chief warns Pandeng to stay out of it. But Pandeng just humbly bows, saying he understands completely and then offers to lend a hand. Before anyone can react, Pandeng leaps into the sky, summoning his ultimate weapon, a gigantic, ornate golden bell that glows with immense power. With a deafening crash, the bell slams down, trapping the entire bandit crew inside a powerful ceiling formation. The bandit chief and his crew are caught completely by surprise, yelling out in confusion and anger as the trap closes around them. Pandeng lands softly, putting his hands together in a pious gesture. He looks at the trapped bandits with a serene, chilling smile and says, "Well then, since fate brought us together, I'll personally guide you all to nirvana and bliss." Pandeng has found a new master to fear, and he is more than willing to prove his loyalty no matter who he has to crush to do it. There's a fine line between pride and foolishness, and when a cornered man has nothing left to lose, he's about to cross it. Trapped inside Pandeng's golden bell, the bandits are panicking. They offer to give up their treasure, swearing they'll keep quiet about what happened in the valley. But Pandeng isn't listening. He's lost in a rant, convinced that by pinning this massacre on Yejunlin, he can finally become a hero of justice. The other cultivators caught in the trap try to threaten him, announcing they're elders from powerful sects. But their warnings fall on deaf ears. Pandeng has had enough of the noise. He channels immense golden energy, preparing to wipe them all out in a single, devastating attack. A massive explosion rocks the clearing. The real bandit chief watches in fury, realizing that he, a mighty pseudo-immortal, was just played for a fool. Pandeng ignores the bandits and turns to the real Ye Junlan, putting on a humble face. He offers his services, asking if his master wants him to deal with the impersonators. Meanwhile, Miaoyi begs her guardian to do something, but he knows interfering would be suicide. And Miaoyi stares, her mind racing as all the pieces finally start to click into place. She turns to her guardian, her voice barely a whisper. She tells him she suspected it for a while, but now she's sure. The man they know as Ye Fan is the legendary Ye Yunlin. Her guardian can only tell her to stay calm and see how this plays out. Pandeng doesn't wait for an answer. He unleashes his attack, a golden lotus blooming above him as waves of destructive sonic energy pour out. The sound is unbearable. The cultivators outside the bell clutch their heads, screaming in agony from the vibrations alone. Li Wujie holds up a glowing blue pearl, casually remarking that, just as his master instructed, he's recorded the whole thing. Ye Junlin smirks. Now that they have the proof, it's time to warm up. In a flash of light, Ye Junlin moves, cutting through the air like a blade, heading straight for Pandeng's attack. With a wicked grin on his face, he throws a punch, his fist glowing with golden energy, creating a powerful shockwave on impact. The wave of energy slices clean through Pandeng's attack, dissipating it instantly. The monk whirls around, shocked, demanding to know who dared to interfere. Ye Junlin floats in the air and calmly introduces himself. Xuantian sect's Ye Junlin. The name sends a shockwave through the crowd. The bandits are horrified, realizing the man they were impersonating was standing right there the whole time. And Miaoyi and Fan Dezhen are stunned. He really is the dragon from the rumors. The bandit chief finally understands, screaming in rage as he realizes Pandeng was just putting on a show for the real master all along. The jig is up. Pandeng drops the act, his face contorting with fury. He declares that he and Ye Junlin will settle all their debts right here, right now. But Ye Junlin just holds up the recording pearl, reminding him that his whole little performance has been captured. Ye Junlin casually asks what would happen to the Sky Temple's reputation if he made the recording public. Pandeng just scoffs, retorting that no one is walking out of here alive to find out. He's brimming with confidence, telling Ye Junlin that inside the valley, his own power was suppressed. That's the only reason he lost. Out here, things will be different. With a roar, Pandeng charges, yelling for Ye Junlin to prepare to die. His disciples look on with concern, knowing the old monk is at the peak of his realm, a truly dangerous foe. A massive cross of golden energy shoots from Pandeng's hands, hurtling straight towards Ye Junlin. And then, the system kicks in. A notification appears. Attacked by a stronger opponent, his cultivation is now being raised to match. Ye Junlin's eyes narrow. "Here we go," he says, as his power explodes outwards, shattering Pandeng's attack like glass. With a loud clang, the blowback slams into Pandeng. He staggers, blood spewing from his mouth, his eyes wide with utter disbelief. He's completely stunned. He realizes with horror that Ye Junlin wasn't hiding his power at all. He's at the peak of the Tribulation Realm too. Surrounded by a swirling fiery aura, Ye Junlin calmly holds out his hand and asks, "Tell me, how do you want to die?" Pandeng roars in defiance. He activates his indestructible diamond body, his skin glowing gold. He boasts that his body was forged for battle and can't be destroyed so easily. Ye Junlan is unimpressed, telling him he already gave him his chance. Enraged, Pandeng unleashes his ultimate skill, summoning a magnificent great celestial dragon made of pure, golden energy. The dragon lets out a deafening roar, but Ye Junlin just scoffs, dismissing the legendary beast as nothing more than a baby eel. He raises his own hand, unleashing a technique of his own, the Supreme Bone, Hand of Heaven. A colossal hand made of fire and divine energy forms in the sky, dwarfing the dragon completely. With a cold final command, Ye Junlin says, "Get erased." The fiery hand descends, grabbing the golden dragon in its massive grip. It crushes the dragon instantly, shattering it into nothing. Pandeng stares in absolute horror. The Sky Temple's ultimate technique, gone in a flash. The Hand of Heaven doesn't stop. It continues its descent, aimed directly at Pandeng. In a desperate last stand, Pandeng roars, "You dare!" He summons a golden Buddha statue, hoping its sacred power can protect him. Image, Shifty E2035. He activates another defensive technique, creating a shield of blinding green and gold light. The Hand of Heaven collides with the shield in a brilliant explosion of energy. But it's not enough. Ye Junlin pushes his power forward, his voice dripping with contempt as he tells him to know your place. The hand punches straight through the shield, piercing Pandeng's body. The remaining energy slams into the ground, obliterating the landscape as Pandeng's disciples watch in terror. Pandeng lies broken in the crater, coughing weakly. Ye Junlin floats down, looking almost disappointed. "Still alive?" he asks. Pandeng struggles to his feet, his body trembling. His pride, his strongest defense, is completely shattered. But he's not done yet. It's time to use his last resort, the treasure pills from the Medicine King Valley. His disciples quickly toss him the glowing herbs. He absorbs them all in a flash of light. A powerful yellow aura flares up around him as the herb's energy courses through his body. Image, H52045. He rises, his eyes glowing with borrowed power, declaring that this fight is just getting started. Ye Junlin looks down at him from above, his expression unchanged. "No," he says calmly, "it's already over." He admits Pandeng's defense was impressive, but as he gathers an even more terrifying amount of golden energy, he asks him, "Let's see how you handle this." Suddenly, one of the creators complains that they're working hard on the comic, but he's grabbed by the collar, accused of lying and making the chapter too short. Another creator complains that the colorist is late. The other just yells, "Acupuncture incoming!" Looks like even the creators can't escape a good old-fashioned beatdown. There's a big difference between a fair fight and a public execution. As Ye Junlan gathers his power, a look of dawning horror crosses Pandeng's face. He recognizes this technique. Ye Junlan just gives him a cold smile and asks, "Remember now?" Pandeng scoffs, trying to put on a brave face. He calls the punch a joke, saying it felt weaker than a mosquito bite when he was hit with it back in the valley. Ye Junlin's hand crackles with an insane amount of golden energy, a power so immense it feels like it could tear the world apart. He looks at Pandeng with pity and asks, "Oh, what if I told you I only used 1/10,000th of my strength back then?" That single sentence hits Pandeng harder than any physical blow. His mind completely shatters. With a single word, "Die," Ye Junlin unleashes his power. His fist, glowing like a miniature sun, closes in on the monk. The punch connects, and Pandeng's entire body is engulfed in a blinding white light. A strangled gurgle is the last sound he ever makes as his body begins to disintegrate, the force of the blow erasing him from existence. A massive shockwave erupts, sending dust and debris flying everywhere. The ground is torn apart, leaving a massive crater where the proud abbot of the Sky Temple once stood. Ye Junlin just stands there, his aura slowly fading, not even winded. The battle is over. For a moment, there's just silence. Then, the crowd of rescued cultivators explodes into cheers, screaming that the demon monk is dead and that they've been saved. They raise their fists in the air, chanting his name. One man declares that from now on, he'll be Senior Ye's biggest supporter. The sentiment spreads like wildfire. They shout that they'll defend Senior Ye's name with their lives. He is their hero. As Ye Junlun floats down, he's bathed in the adoration of the crowd, a legend in their eyes. And Miaoyi clutches her face, blushing furiously, unable to believe how strong and handsome he is. Her guardian is simply in awe, admitting his strength is beyond anything he could have imagined. Fan Dezhen tries to encourage his niece to work hard. Meanwhile, Li Wujie is gushing to his senior brother, in awe that their master turned a feigned defensive master to dust with one punch. Hong Qianye stares intently at his master, wondering just how much further his power can possibly go. Across the field, Pandang's remaining disciples realize their master is gone and panic, yelling for a retreat. They turn to flee, but they don't get far. A flash of red cuts them off. It's Hong Qianye, his voice dripping with menace as he asks the monks where they think they're going. He moves like a phantom, a blur of red robes and demonic energy cutting through their ranks. With his sword drawn, he becomes a whirlwind of death, dispatching the fleeing monks with cold efficiency. In seconds, it's over. The threat of the Sky Temple has been silenced. With that handled, Ye Junlun turns to the last remaining problem, the bandits who dared to impersonate him. He tells them it's time to settle their score. The bandit chief immediately drops to his knees, begging for mercy, calling himself worthless scum who isn't worthy of Senior Yai's attention. The rest of the bandits are quick to follow his lead, immediately turning on each other. One points at the chief, claiming he was forced into it. Another claims he was just a simple farmer. It's a pathetic display of cowardice. The bandit chief is furious, screaming at his backstabbing crew for trying to abandon him. Ye Junlun looks on with complete disgust. These clowns are so pathetic, they're not even worth dirtying his hands on. He decides he might as well let the victims handle it themselves. He turns to the crowd and asks En Miaoyi how much the bandits stole from her. That's all the encouragement she needs. En Miaoyi points a finger and starts yelling her demands for millions of spirit crystals and countless treasures. The rest of the crowd joins in, demanding their own stolen items back as the bandits are quickly overwhelmed. Li Wuji watches with a grin, agreeing with his master that these pests aren't even worth their time. En Miaoyi approaches Ye Junlan, thanking him. She admits she always knew he was hiding something, but never imagined this. Ye Junlan confesses that he actually wanted to reveal himself when they first met, but he explains that since she so clearly hated imposters, he decided it would be much more fun to just play along. And Miaoyi blushes, muttering about how she was misled by the thugs. She thinks about how laughable her own vow to seek justice seems now. Ye Junlin just smiles, patting her on the head. He tells her it's not laughable at all. He compliments her pure heart and her rare physique, saying her future is bright and he has high hopes for her. She beams, promising to train harder. With a snap of his fingers, he begins to summon his ride. A massive vortex of spiritual energy swirls into existence. A colossal, ethereal creature emerges from the light. As he and his crew begin to ascend, he bids farewell to En Miaoyi, saying, "Until we meet again." The crowd below waves, watching them fly away. En Miaoyi whispers, "Let's meet again someday." Someone in the crowd recognizes the beast, shouting that Senior Ye's mount really is a kunpeng. He is hailed as the pride of the East Domain. The cultivators realize they believed slander against a true hero and decide they have to clear his name. And they decide to start by making the real culprits pay. An angry mob turns back towards the terrified bandits. The bandits scream, once again blaming their chief for the whole idea. Their screams echo through the forest as the mob descends upon them. Looks like justice is being served, one rotten apple at a time. High above the chaos, things are much more peaceful. The majestic kunpeng glides through the clouds, a small palace resting on its back. Xiaohei looks around, his eyes wide with wonder. He remarks that it's like a paradise in the clouds. Ye Junlin tells him that from now on, he's one of them, and it's time to meet his senior brothers. The crew gathers on the deck. Ye Junlin introduces Hong Qianye as his very warm-hearted eldest senior brother. Hong Qianye forces a smile, welcoming his new junior. Xiaohei is stunned. He's lived for 100,000 years and never seen such a beautiful human, and he's a guy? Ye Junlin then points to Bai Xiaozi, calling her the second senior brother, his personal chef. And finally, he introduces Li Wujie as the third senior brother, his scout and vanguard. Xiaohei bows respectfully, asking them all to take care of him. With introductions over, Ye Junlin immediately falls back into his lazy routine, telling Bai Xiaoxi to come massage his shoulders. Bai Xiaoxi happily agrees, eager to please her master. Hong Qianye watches them, thinking that Bai Xiaoxi is clearly trying to win favor, and wonders if maybe he could do the same. His gaze falls on Xiaohe, and it's intense. Xiaohe starts to sweat, wondering why his first senior stare is so terrifying, like he wants to eat him. He immediately tries to run but bumps right into his third senior brother. Liu Jie just stands there, blocking his path. With a grin, Liu Jie holds out a piece of dried root he's been chewing on, asking his new junior brother if he wants to try some. Xiaohe is horrified. He's trying to get him to eat one of his own kind. He wonders if it's too late to run away from this terrifying sect. Liu Jie just blinks, completely confused by his reaction. He quickly apologizes, saying he didn't mean anything by it. But it's too late. Xiaohe bolts, screaming that his third brother is scary. Liu Ji sighs, realizing he's already left a bad impression. Meanwhile, Ye Junlin is relaxing with a pot of freshly brewed tea. Bai Xiaoqi exclaims that it smells amazing. Hong Qianye walks over, his eyes widening in shock. He recognizes the aroma. He asks his master if this is enlightenment tea. He knows this isn't just any tea. It's a legendary herb so rare that it once sparked a war. The ancient immortals only allowed a select few to try it once every 50,000 years. He's only ever smelled it from a distance. Forgetting all his pride, he stammers, asking his master if he might have the honor of tasting a cup. Ye Junlan, without a moment's hesitation, says, "Of course!" He pours a cup, the steam swirling into mystical shapes, and tells him to try it. Hong Qianye's hands tremble as he accepts the cup. The legendary tea that countless immortals have sought for millennia, he's finally going to drink it. He holds the cup reverently. He takes a single, slow sip. The moment the tea touches his lips, a powerful energy surges through him. His eyes fly open. This power, it's incredible. He drops the cup as his cultivation base violently erupts. Waves of red and gold energy blast out from his body. A single cup of tea has triggered a massive breakthrough, sending his power soaring to unimaginable new heights. As Ye Junlin gathers his power, a look of dawning horror crosses Pandeng's face. He recognizes this technique. Ye Junlin just gives him a cold smile and asks, "Remember now?" Suddenly, a creator screams that the comic has been updated. Ye Junlin delivers a punch straight to the creator, yelling that this is to fix the lazy pacing. It's the lazy draft correction fist. Looks like even the fourth wall can't protect you from a deadline. A single drop of power can cause ripples, but an ocean of it can create a tidal wave that changes everything. Ye Junlin and Liu Jie watch in amazement as Hong Qianye's power level skyrockets. He blasts through the early, mid, and late stages of the Tribulation Realm in seconds, not stopping until he hits the absolute peak. Liu Jie is stunned. In the blink of an eye, his senior brother has become one of the most powerful beings in the land. Drunk on his newfound power, Hong Qianye throws his head back and lets out a wild, maniacal laugh. That is, until a loud smack rings out. Ye Junlin delivers a swift slap to the back of his head, demanding to know what he's laughing about. Hong Qianye is immediately brought back to reality. He stammers and apologizes, begging his master to forgive him. Ye Junlin just warns him to watch it next time, then tells him to calm down and enjoy the tea. The rest of the disciples thank their master. Hong Qiai, ever the opportunist, immediately asks just how much of this legendary tea he has left. Ye Junlin casually pulls out an entire massive jar, saying it's packed full. Hong Qianye's eyes practically bug out of his head. A few leaves of this stuff once started a war, and his master has a whole jar of it. The disciples happily start sipping their tea, the divine flavor sending them into a state of bliss. And just like before, the effects are immediate. A wave of power erupts from Liu Jie and Bai Xiaoxi, who thank their master as they both reach the late sincerity stage in an instant. Xiaohe is stunned, realizing a single cup of this tea is more precious than any treasure from his valley. Seeing everyone else advancing, Xiaohe takes a sip himself, wondering if this will work for his tribe too. The moment he drinks, an explosive wave of pure teal energy bursts from his body. His own cultivation rockets upwards, jumping multiple realms in a single breath. He finally stops at the perfect ascension stage. He lets out a sigh of relief, glad he stopped before he could outshine his seniors. Hong Qianye watches, noting that the tea didn't just boost their power, it deepened their understanding of their own martial arts. Ye Junlin sips his tea, thinking this was a good haul. Just then, a new system quest pops up. Head to the Hanging Temple, settle the score, and receive a legendary reward. A new quest? Perfect. It's time to settle things with those monks once and for all. With a determined look, Ye Junlin orders Li Wuji to grab the recording sphere. They're heading to the Hanging Temple. His disciples immediately agree. Hong Qianye notes that it's time to put out the flame of the so-called sacred ground. Li Wuji, however, is more cautious, wondering if their master can really handle the abbot of the temple. Meanwhile, in the Buddhist province of the Eastern Domain, the kingdom of Fuluo is burning. In the streets, a group of powerful monks are mercilessly slaughtering city officials. A woman begs them to spare her child. A massive, hulking monk named Yuan Fang steps forward, his expression cold as ice. He says that a debt must be repaid. Just as he's about to strike, a flash of steel intercepts his attack. A group of soldiers appears, demanding to know who dares to attack the governor. The city governor, Murong, arrives with his troops, his face a mask of fury. Yuan Fang is completely unfazed. He scoffs, saying that even if the king himself showed up, he wouldn't dare interfere with this. He declares that these officials have no future, because their so-called heavenly kingdom has been oppressing its people. He charges forward, easily batting aside the soldiers who try to stop him. He clashes with a mounted soldier, the force of the blow sending the horse and rider flying. Another soldier moves to intercept him, but Governor Murong steps in, telling his commander that he'll handle this himself. Murong charges, swinging his massive mace and ordering the wicked monk to surrender. Yuanfang just holds up a hand, asking the governor to let him show his own version of compassion. In that split second of confusion, Yuanfang moves, shattering Murong's mace with a single devastating blow. The shockwave sends Murong flying backwards, his defenses completely annihilated. Murong lies wounded on the ground as Yuanfang calmly asks if he was the last one standing. Murong spits back that Yuanfang is a traitor who killed the previous governors. Yuanfang laughs. He reveals that all the previous governors were imposters sent by the empire. He relieved them of their duties, but the empire just kept sending more. The real Murong watches in horror from the crowd. The fake Murong can't believe it. His whole mission, his very identity, was a lie. Yuanfang looms over him. He says he warned him, but he wouldn't listen. Now, he will send him peacefully to the afterlife. But just as he raises his hand to strike, he freezes. An unbelievably powerful presence descends from the sky. The fake Murong sees a chance and tries one last desperate attack, but Yuanfang just calls him a fool, his attention completely focused on the newcomers. A slap rings out as the fourth wall is broken once again. Ye Junlin complains that the plot sucks and asks who wrote this garbage. Hong Qianye is flustered, denying he even started drawing yet. Ye Junlin orders him to get to work, because the tea isn't going to brew itself. And so, the drawing continues, even if it means watering down the ending for today. When the lines between good and evil blur, sometimes the only way to find the truth is to burn everything to the ground. The fake Murong makes a last, desperate leap, screaming for the monk to die with him. But Yuanfang just looks up at the sky with a smirk and calls him a fool. A colossal, ethereal maw opens in the sky above them. The real Murong, seeing what's about to happen, tries to warn his enemy, but it's already too late. The massive Kunpeng descends, its presence alone creating a crater and sending a shockwave that throws Yuanfang and his disciples back. Murong stares in awe, recognizing the ancient divine beast. Yuanfang is equally stunned, realizing a supreme demon of the peak tribulation stage has just appeared out of nowhere. From atop the Kunpeng, Ye Junlin looks down with a lazy smile. He casually gives an order, telling his mount to eat all the bad guys for him. A swirling vortex of energy pulls in the corrupt soldiers. They scream for mercy, begging the senior to spare them. Their screams are cut short as the Kunpeng swallows them whole. Murong watches in horror as the officials who served under him are all devoured, leaving him with no idea what to do next. Ye Junlin and his crew descend, asking Murong why ascetics from the mountain were pillaging his city. Murong grits his teeth and explains that these so-called holy men came to abduct children on the orders of their mountain lord. Murong explains that Hanging Mountain is connected to the Hanging Temple. The mountain lord is a beast who uses his ties to the temple to do whatever he wants. He ordered the abduction of children to be devoured, claiming it was to enlighten them, when in reality they were just food. The temple knows, but to protect their reputation, they do nothing. He continues, saying the Hanging Temple is the pinnacle of Buddhism in the East, and their abbot is a revered spiritual leader. Because the temple has never admitted any connection to these beasts, the surrounding kingdoms are forced to swallow their anger and do nothing. Hong Qianye scoffs, calling them hypocrites for turning a blind eye just to protect their reputation. Murong just sighs, saying no one dares question the Hanging Temple. Ye Junlin's expression turns to ice. He zips over to the fake Murong, who is still alive. He grabs him by the collar, demanding to know where he was taking the children. Terrified, the man confesses everything. He reveals that the Mountain Lord, the Grey Wolf Spirit, is panicking because his powerful patron needs something from him. He explains that the beast is hosting a grand birthday feast and ordered them to double the child abductions to satisfy his guest. The real Murong is enraged. 500 children from just one city. Across the entire kingdom, the total number is horrifying. He roars that they all deserve to die, but the fake Murong just whimpers that it's not his fault because no one dares provoke Hanging Mountain. Ye Junlin has heard enough. He tells the man to go join those beasts he served. In a flash of golden light, he incinerates the man, leaving nothing behind. Murong, witnessing this power, can only beg for his own life. Just then, a new system quest appears: exterminate the Grey Wolf Spirit for a special reward. Ye Junlin smirks. Perfect timing. He was about to deal with those beasts anyway. Ye Onlan offers Murong a deal. He'll exterminate the beasts if Murong agrees to guide his Kumpeng. Murong is ecstatic, seeing a true hero offering to save his people. He bows deeply, asking for the senior's name so he can never forget his kindness. Ye Junlin replies simply, Xuanqian Sect, Ye Junlin. The name hits Murong like a lightning bolt. Ye Junlin, the infamous white-haired demon, the slaughter god? This doesn't match the rumors at all. He's left wondering who is truly evil in this world. Deep in Hanging Mountain, at the lair of the Grey Wolf Spirit, the Beast Lord sits on his throne, asking his subordinates how the operation is going. A subordinate reports that the child offerings will arrive in 5 days. The Mountain Lord's 3 great protectors: a chicken, an ox, and a boar, laugh, drooling at the thought of the feast. The Grey Wolf Spirit licks his lips, chuckling about turning the fresh souls into one with Buddha. Suddenly, a terrifying aura descends upon the mountain. The protectors look up in alarm, wondering who dares to intrude. A swirling vortex of red and blue energy blasts through the lair, with Heng Qianye and Li Wujie leading the way. The massive form of the Kunpeng follows close behind, gliding through the sky. Murong points down, telling Ye Junlin that below them lies Hanging Mountain. Ye Junlan declares that from this day forward, Hanging Mountain will cease to exist. He then notes that his mount has eaten enough to advance to the tribulation stage. A bird-like demon flies up, demanding to know who dares intrude. Ye Junlin simply orders his Kunpeng to show them what a true demon king looks like. The protectors look up, a flicker of fear in their eyes as they realize what's about to happen. The Kunpeng opens its mouth and inhales, gathering a massive amount of spiritual energy. The demons don't even have time to react. A colossal beam of pure energy erupts from the Kunpeng's mouth, slamming into the mountain with the force of a meteor. Murong can only stare in awe as a single strike completely obliterates the entire mountain. From the rubble, a single battered figure pulls himself free. It's the Grey Wolf Spirit. His protectors are gone, but he survived. He's a tribulation-stage demon beast. He snarls, realizing they underestimated their foe, and vows that they'll pay for this. It's clear that these so-called monks are nothing but snakes hiding behind Buddha's face. Ye Junlin declares that today he will strip away their facade and show the world their true, disgusting faces. A monk greets them, asking how the Hanging Temple has offended them and offering to provide a just explanation. Image, Shafe 5-4 Versi. The battle at the Hanging Temple is about to erupt. But why is the draft so rough again? Looks like the artists are running out of steam. When the holy hide behind secrets and sin, true justice doesn't knock it, kicks the door down. The Grey Wolf Spirit pulls himself from the wreckage, his body battered but his rage burning. He can't believe he was beaten by another demon beast. He snarls that he was careless and vows revenge. He boasts that he's ruled this land for 500 years, with the Hanging Temple backing him, a power that even kings don't dare provoke. He screams at the sky, warning them that they messed with the wrong wolf. Suddenly, a massive, ethereal projection of a meditating monk appears in the sky. The Grey Wolf Spirit doesn't care who it is, yelling that he won't spare anyone who dares disrespect him. The phantom monk slowly opens its eyes. With a casual swat, a wave of golden energy slams down, effortlessly crushing the Grey Wolf Spirit. Murong is stunned. Just a phantom of the Hanging Temple's abbot is this powerful. Li Wujie remarks that the strike could stop a peak tribulation master. Heng Qianye, now at that stage himself, is insulted, but Ye Junlin cuts him off, confirming his suspicions. The abbot is indeed protecting these demon monks. Ye Junlin decides to respond in kind, gathering a massive ball of fiery orange energy. He unleashes the attack, which collides with the phantom's power in a blinding explosion. The gray wolf spirit looks on in absolute disbelief. Impossible. There's no way anyone could match the abbot's power. He realizes this newcomer's cultivation is so high, he can't even sense it. Terrified, he drops to the ground and begs for his life. Ye Junlin looks down at him coldly and simply says, "You built your little fortress right in my path." The Grey Wolf spirit promises to scram immediately and never return. But Ye Junlin has a question. "You plan to run back to the Hanging Temple?" The beast eagerly agrees, offering to introduce the senior to the temple. Ye Junlin smiles. Perfect. He's been wanting to visit anyway. The Grey Wolf spirit is overjoyed, thinking his plan to lead this fool into a trap is working. But as he turns, a demonic, bloody energy erupts behind him. He whips around in terror, but it's too late. Ye Junlin's voice echoes in the darkness. "I never said you'd be going alive." With the beast dead, Ye Junlin turns to his disciple. He tells Li Wujie to pack up the wolf's head, saying it'll make a fine gift for the abbot. Murong bows deeply, thanking the senior for saving his people. At that moment, the system announces the quest is complete, rewarding him with a mysterious new sword. Ye Junlin smirks, eager to test its power. Meanwhile, at the Hanging Temple, monks ascend the long staircase for a grand assembly. The temple itself is magnificent, a symbol of peace and purity. A disciple reports to the abbot, Shuyun, that the Dharma assembly is ready. The abbot calmly dismisses him, but inwardly he's troubled. The tracking mark he placed on the Grey Wolf spirit is gone. He knows only a handful of people in the entire province could do that. He dismisses the thought, deciding the beast's death is simply karmic retribution for all the trouble it caused. His only concern is that whoever did it doesn't make a scene and harm the temple's pristine reputation. On a nearby cliff, important visitors have gathered for the assembly. The crown prince of the Pure Land nation boasts that the abbot's last sermon has made him confident he could stand against a demon emperor. His younger siblings listen, the brother teasing his sister about her own recent claims of improvement. The crown prince challenges his brother to a friendly spar when they return. The princess just looks towards the temple, hoping this assembly will help her comprehend new truths. Inside, Abbot Suiyun begins his sermon, preaching about taming one's heart and guiding all beings to nirvana. But his serene sermon is cut short. A group of figures lands directly in the middle of the assembly, startling the monks. A guard monk points a finger, demanding to know who they are and yelling that they've trespassed in a holy place. Ye Junlin lands softly, simply stating, "I'm here to deliver a gift." He tosses something that shatters a stone plaque, enraging the monks. Ye Junlin just scoffs, calling them hypocrites. He declares that he's here to collect a debt for Pandang. The royal siblings watch, realizing this has far-reaching implications. The monks have had enough. They surround the group, ordering them to be seized. Li Wujie steps forward, his eyes glowing with red demonic energy. He just smirks. "You think you can?" In a blur of motion, he unleashes his blade, effortlessly cutting down the monks who charged him. The crown prince is impressed by his skill. An elderly monk watches, recognizing that trouble has arrived. He knows this must be handled carefully. Abbot Suiyun floats down, his expression calm and benevolent. He asks how the temple has offended them, promising to handle it fairly. Ye Junlin just looks at him with a cynical smile. "Keep acting," he says. "You sure are good at putting on a show." The abbot continues his act, claiming it's all a misunderstanding and asking Ye Junlin to provide a reasonable explanation for barging in. Ye Junlin holds up the glowing image, capturing Pearl. "Here's my explanation," he says as he tosses it into the air. The pearl floats above the courtyard, glowing with an intense blue light. The monks stare, and one of them recognizes the face in the projection. "It's Elder Pandang." Another agrees, glad that someone finally took that disgrace down. The pearl begins to play the recording. The entire assembly watches as Pandang traps innocent cultivators, declaring his intent to murder them all and frame Ye Junlin. The royal siblings are shocked. Why is a monk from the holy temple working with the white-haired demon? The abbot stares at the projection, his calm facade finally cracking. He realizes with horror that the whole thing was recorded. Image, Chafe Fissisit 050, the recording continues, showing Ye Junlin stepping in to save the cultivators just as Pandang was about to kill them. The crowd murmurs, putting the pieces together. Pandang wanted to kill them, but Ye Junlin stopped him. A hanging temple elder pulling such dirty tricks. It's unbelievable. Yet Junlin crosses his arms, a smug look on his face, thinking, let's see how you explain your way out of this now. A holy temple's darkest secrets have been exposed, and the man who did it is enjoying every second of the chaos. In the courtyard, Ye Junlin casually tells his youngest disciple to get behind him, as if he's just waiting for the show to start. Across the way, An Miaoyi watches, completely captivated, thinking he's a true hero. Abbot Suyun's face is a mask of pure fury. He points a trembling finger at Ye Junlin, his voice shaking with rage, accusing him of being a demon who framed Pandang to ruin the temple. But Ye Junlin just looks back with a small, knowing smirk, as if he knew the abbot would deny everything. Before the abbot can continue, Ye Junlin makes his next move. With a casual flick of his wrist, something grotesque flies through the air, landing with a sickening thud, the severed head of the gray wolf spirit. Ye Junlin's smirk widens. He looks the abbot dead in the eye and asks, "Baldy, I even brought back your precious pet. Aren't you going to thank me properly?" The disrespect is absolute. The abbot stumbles back, frantically denying everything, shouting that the wicked beast has nothing to do with him. But a flicker of fear in his eyes betrays his panic as he asks, "So you killed this creature too?" Ye Junlin doesn't even need to answer. The recording continues, and the voice of the Grey Wolf spirit itself fills the air, complaining about how its dirty work is tarnishing the Hanging Temple's name, and how the temple secretly sent men to clean up its messes. A ripple of unease spreads through the crowd. People start whispering, their faces filled with dawning horror. One man remembers seeing a wolf at the temple long ago. Others recall the rumors of kidnapped children. Could their holy leader really be this evil? Just then, Governor Murong, a man known for his righteousness, steps forward. His face is grim as he confirms it for everyone. The recordings are real, and he's not alone. An elder from the Heavenly Artisan sect raises his hand and swears upon his sect's honor that the recordings haven't been tampered with. Every image, he says, is the undeniable truth. That's all it takes. The crowd's doubt turns into horrified certainty, and Miaoyi gasps, realizing that Master Shuyun is filthy to the core. Another man trembles, his faith crumbling. Ye Junlin projects his voice over the crowd, telling them that what he's shown are undeniable facts. He even invites anyone who still doubts to go see the proof for themselves. A figure points directly at the abbot, screaming that he is a wolf in monk's robes, his throne stained not with piety, but with the blood and tears of countless children. The dam of public opinion finally breaks. The crowd's grief quickly turns to fury. And Miaoyi's brother clenches his fists, growling that this is a disgrace to Buddhism, a disgrace to the entire world. The single voice of outrage becomes a deafening roar. Thousands of people begin to chant in unison, their voices filled with venom. "Beast, get out of the eastern domain!" Abbot Suyun stands silently amidst the storm. Then, with a slow, deliberate movement, he clenches his fist, shattering the string of golden prayer beads he holds. The mask of the benevolent monk has just cracked for good. With a furious roar, he unleashes his power. "Silence, all of you!" A blinding wave of golden energy erupts from his body, his face twisted into a demonic snarl. The word silence echoes like a physical shockwave, a blast of pure sonic force that rips through the entire temple grounds. The crowd is thrown into chaos. People scream in pain, clutching their ears as their righteous anger instantly turns to terror. A shimmering blue barrier protects An Miaoyi and her brother. She looks over with gratitude, realizing Senior Yi protected them. Her brother, still shaken, says they have to report this immediately. The remaining guests scramble to escape, but Shuyun, wreathed in a terrifying golden aura, raises his hand. No one is leaving alive today. He's decided to bury his secret by burying every single witness. He unleashes his power not on the people, but on the temple itself, tearing through the sacred space. He's not just killing the witnesses, he's destroying the entire crime scene. As the destruction rages, he begins rewriting history on the spot, narrating a false version of events where the Yi demon stormed the temple and his brave monks fought valiantly. The other monks, completely brainwashed, fall in line behind him, chanting their support. And Miaoyi's brother is furious, realizing the monks are too far gone to be reasoned with. He draws his sword, telling his sister their only option now is to fight their way out. Amidst the panic, Ye Junlin looks almost bored. He gives a nod to his first disciple and says, "Enough talking, little red, go." Hong Chenye, annoyed but obedient, flares with demonic energy and leaps into action. He slams into an invisible barrier, the temple's mountain defense array. The abbot scoffs from above, telling him he should feel honored to be sacrificed for the array. Far away, the king of the Pure Land nation sees the disturbance. His face pales with worry. His heirs are at that assembly. With urgency, he orders his forces to head for the mountain immediately. Meanwhile, hidden in the shadows, Li Wujie pulls out a strange, glowing stone. He clutches it tightly, whispering, "The time has come." Back at the temple, Hong Qianye strains against the golden energy cage forming around him, gritting his teeth in frustration. But then, a wicked smirk spreads across his face. This array might be good for mortals, but to him, a former true immortal, it's a complete joke. The abbot, seeing him trapped, calls him a fool and unleashes a giant Dharma palm of holy fire. But Hong Qianye is unimpressed, unleashing his own torrent of searing red flames to meet the attack head-on. The two colossal fire attacks collide in a raging inferno. The explosion of red and gold light is immense, a testament to two tribulation stage masters going all out. Chase 57035. The abbot acknowledges Hong Qianye's power, but then his holy fire shifts. A sinister purple flame laced with dark energy erupts around him. "Since you like fire," the abbot sneers, "let's see how yours compares to my Buddhist hellfire." A clash of hellfires is about to begin. Hong Qianye roars, unleashing his own ultimate flame, the vermilion phoenix infernal flame. As the flames get closer, Hong Qianye's eyes widen in shock. "You old bastard," he yells. "Your fire contains 9 hells energy. You've allied with the underworld clan and still dare claim to be a high monk." The abbot's eyes glow a demonic red. He sneers. "Insolent fool. You demonic heretics know nothing of true Buddhism. This flame burns away all wickedness." Suddenly, a world-shaking roar rips through the sky. High above, a colossal shape emerges from the clouds. It's the Kunpong, smashing against the temple's golden barrier. The abbot looks up, his arrogant expression replaced with pure shock. A Kunpong? An ancient beast at the tribulation stage? He realizes in an instant Ye Junlin must be behind this. The Kunpong unleashes a massive beam of pure azure energy, a pillar of raw power that slams directly into the golden defense array. Just then, 2 small figures leap from its back, landing gracefully amidst the chaos. It's Bai Shaozi and Xiao He, shouting in unison, "Master, senior brother, we're here to help." The abbot scoffs, regaining a sliver of confidence, sneering that a mere Kunpong can't break his array. But inside, Hong Qianye just smirks. "Is that so?" Bai Shaozi and Xiao He shout together, "Let's break it together!" They unleash their own attacks, which merge with the Kunpong's beam, forming a tricolored storm of destruction. With a deafening crackle, the combined power is too much. The holy defense array, the temple's ultimate shield, shatters like glass. The abbot can only stare in utter disbelief. How is this possible? That beast, and now even his disciples, are at the tribulation stage? His last line of defense is gone, and his understanding of the world is breaking apart right along with it.